Give it one more, dude. Bro, I gotta tell you one more thing. Tell me like this.
Just keep it rolling, just like go viral.
Well, I was gonna drop a name.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. There was a time. There was a time. I used to look into my mother's eyes.
I hope not.
Can't look into your mom's eyes, bro?
I'm just kidding because what we were talking about before.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Thank you everybody for checking us out. We're back again with another great show.
Oh, man, bro.
A lot to say, a lot we talk about. There's always a cast before the cast, people. There's always a cast before the cast.
Exactly. I wish we could like make that its own thing and record that separately and then release
Yeah.
that. You know, and just be
like uncut.
Exactly.
1999.
Exactly. You know,
Uncut.
subscribe to our Patreon. That's what you
We
get.
mentioned names.
You get behind the
You
scenes.
get names.
Exactly. Yes, subscribe to the Patreon.
Right. No screenshots.
It's on our OnlyFans.
No screenshots. You have to pay. You have to pay or file a lawsuit.
It's on our OnlyFans. It's not all just porn content on OnlyFans. You can go in there. We have real content on OnlyFans.
Pictures of me. There's pictures of Steve, but there's also pictures. There's also bloopers.
It's not nudes. It's not nudes. Okay.
Just savage birds.
That's my Snapchat premium. That's a separate side hustle.
If anyone's wondering,
unrelated.
What do they call it? Damn it, something boost.
Something boost.
Shameless shout out. Something like that.
Yeah,
shameless plug.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Shameless
Shameless plug right there. Stevie Cakes.
Promotion.
Stevie Cakey.
It's only $5.99 a month.
Cakey Steve. Make sure you take that with 2 Y's. You also get Steve Aoki.
Yeah. He's the other Steve with Cake. Okay.
I'm Cakey Steve. That's Steve with Cake. I'm Cakey Steve.
Well, that's probably one of the most mind blowing things I watched today. Was that 20-minute video of the Stand By Sophia hashtag that you sent me? I'm so glad. I'm not so glad I watched that, but it's just like, man.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
It was 20 minutes, bro.
So for me, I see a meme, and it's like it's her in that back seat, and it's like an illustrated picture though. I'm like, it said Stand with Sophie. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I haven't heard nothing about this. So I just Google searched it real quick, and that's where I seen that little Reddit clip. And that's why I sent to you and shit. And I was like, because I was like, it was a big thing. Like people were sharing it and shit. I'm like, how did I not hear about this?
Yeah.
And then, I watched that full video you sent me, bro. And it's like, I was going to send it to Katie. I'm like, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
This is pretty fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
This is pretty fucked up. And like you said, what the fuck is going on with the father there, bro?
I don't know. But I do know at that point, especially where they met in the parking lot, and before that, I believe, custody had been legally granted to the mother. So I think he maybe had temporary custody while they went through court.
Yeah, they were going back and forth on it. Yeah.
So it looks like she was granted permanent, and that was the trade-off. Like he was legally obligated to do something.
I don't think she was granted permanent. I just think it was her turn to take it. Yeah.
Remember the cops were there too when they were talking.
It seemed like they were doing a couple months thing or something.
Like if we watched the clip and when they're in the parking lot, where the main clip came from, like the cops in the parking lot with them there. You know, they're just chilling there. The cops there while they sort through this family situation. So it was like the dad was recording, but he was not only he was fighting hard enough for that girl, man. It just seemed crazy. I don't want to say anything, but to me, it's just like as soon as she says something like that,
yep,
you're not going any fucking where. What are you talking about? You're going to your what?
Bro,
where the fuck is this guy?
Listen, I love Kay to death. I was trying to think if that was Kay, and my daughter was saying that about Kay. I would break Kay's face. I would break Kay's face before she ever left. I'll break her mother's face. I'll break
the grandmom too.
That's what I'm talking about. Her mom. Yeah, I'll break both of their faces. I'll break that cop's face, bro. The amount of rage going through the shit that little girl was saying, bro.
Yeah.
She said, "Mommy watches." That's what she said, bro. And I shouldn't, bro, but I feel like I'm like a video analysis expert now, or it's like I try and break down videos and really, really think about them now. Yeah. And I was trying to determine there could be two things, right? Like one, obviously this is true, and it's what a lot of signs are pointing towards. But if she was lying, why would she lie, Steve? Like think about that. You know what I mean? Why would she lie about that? So then I was thinking well, if it is a lie, let's just say if it is a lie. I'm not even trying to defend this, but let's say it is a lie, right? Because there's still something here.
Okay.
Okay, well then this little girl doesn't want to go with these two women so bad that she made up the most egregious thing she could think of to not go with them. So even if it is a lie, look how far this little girl's still willing to go to not be with them.
Yeah.
That shows something else is wrong. Even if it's not that, something's wrong there because she clearly does not want to go with you guys.
Yeah.
So that leads me to think she's telling the goddamn truth, right? And there's one part that I kept replaying, not one part, but a segment of when they keep asking her, why don't you want to go, right? And she builds up, and she's about to say it. And then she lets out this little like anger scream, basically, like, oh, she does that like 6 or 7 times, bro, until she finally says that. And it seemed like every time she wanted to say it. She wanted to say it,
Yeah.
But she didn't want to say it in front of her mother, basically. Like, she didn't know how to say that in front of her mother because her mother watches.
Exactly, yeah. Yep. And even after she said that, she was just like, see, this is like, oh, she's like, this is why I didn't want to tell you guys. She's like, I don't understand. You guys make me feel bad. You make me feel terrible. And even before that, she's sitting there screaming at him. She's just like, I'm not dumb. I'm smart.
She's like, I know why you're asking these things. Yeah. Like, she knows that they were being like condescending, basically.
Exactly, man. It's just like it was so heartbreaking to watch that video and watch, like, oh my god, like I wish someone was there fighting for you as hard as you were fighting for yourself, man. Like that little girl to do that. First of all, assuming it's true, very hard and very brave for a fucking young ass girl to come forward, especially confront her parents about it. The people, I remember, like the grandma's just like, no, adults know best. She's like, no, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
adults say they're always they're the best protector of kids.
Oh my god, she said that.
Or
This
she
6-year-old girl.
Well, she said some shit.
I'm not.
Now,
dumb.
once again, this might be me just trying to do too much, but in my opinion, I always try and think. I just think too fucking about some dumb shit. But I think, like, why is she saying that way, right? Which makes me believe that there's probably something recently that she's learned. She was talking about someone told her that she could say it. She said something along the lines of that. But if I had to guess, there was someone that said if that's true, she needs to speak up, or she's seen something on a movie maybe where like a girl spoke up about something like that, or
seen some Law and Order shit.
She's seen something, or someone told her. She became aware that she could say something.
Yeah.
Something happened there where, like, I don't know what it was. And then, like you're saying, like with the father, like the father doesn't even say anything really, bro.
His films, which I think he's filming for legal purposes, just to show how much the girl didn't want to go with them. Like, I think it was fighting for custody, but at the end of the day, as soon as those words came out her mouth, it's just like
the way he reacted is like she had said that to him already. Like that little girl had already told her dad about that. That's how he reacted. Like, look, I know she's gonna tell you basically now. Like, maybe they had already talked about it, the little girl and the dad, and it was like, okay, well, when we go with mommy, you tell, you know what I mean? That's what you're going to say to the officer, is that what you just told me, right? So he might have felt like, I don't got to say nothing because she's going to say it, But once she said that, I'd have been like, officer, do you hear that? Do you hear that, officer? She watches while her boyfriend, like, it's a claim. It's a legit claim. It doesn't matter if it comes from a kid or not. It's a legit claim.
Exactly.
Like, if it is a lie, okay, then we have to figure that out and we have to discipline that. But, like, it's a legit claim and it should be treated as such.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I said, like, officer, this is my daughter. I want to pursue and press charges on these people. It's like, let's go.
Bro, I was a kid. I had kid friends. I've met 100 kids. I know 100 kids. I never met a kid that would say a lie like that, bro.
Exactly.
I would never met. And then, like,
she knew.
I don't even like getting into the details, but you heard the shit she said, bro. Yep. She described in detail what a man does, basically, to get erect.
Yep.
So she knows that, right? So that's already a problem too. How does she know that?
Exactly.
There's problems that you can see even outside of the main issue.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I think it's very important, especially with people, people teach their children boundaries and what is appropriate and what's not appropriate. You really need to cement that and run it on home. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
I say all the time with the crime junkie thing, man. They say all the time, teach your kids to be rude.
Yeah.
Teach your kids it's okay to be rude.
Yeah.
And trust your gut. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yep.
that's the two biggest things is trust your gut.
Yeah.
Teach your kids that it's okay to be rude. You don't have to do anything that you don't think you should.
I remember my grandma taught me that from a very early point on. You know what I'm saying? I remember always being like, hyper aware. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember like we would just be in a sedan. I'm like I'm her son. She'd just have her hand on my lap. She'd have her hand like on my thigh over here, just chilling, just like pretty much not by my knee. I'd be like, she come up high, she goes for it. I'm thinking about that about my own grandmother, the person who taught me this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like just like that was in my head. I'm just like, she touches me up here. Just like I got shout. I got to tell somebody. Just like she cemented that home very early on. You know what I'm saying? So to the point where I'm just like,
you even felt it about her,
grandma.
Yeah, you said people try shit, grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that's freak. What you said. So it's just like it's very important because I don't think people actually go for that with them kids because I don't think they really, especially a lot of young parents, who don't know,
bro.
Especially these young parents, they're bringing these random dudes around your daughters and stuff.
It's really an overwhelming emotion, bro. On the Crime Junkie podcast I listened to today. Oh man, it just instantly makes my fucking eyes tear up, bro, because it's just so sad, bro. But a woman had 2 daughters, and she married this man, and she got breast cancer, like stage 4 breast cancer, like a year after, and ended up dying within like 2 years. So he was raising them, and one of the daughters he was real nice to. And one of the daughters he was real mean to, and she ends up going missing. That's the one it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he lied. He killed her. He killed her, but he lied and said she ran away. So when they're doing doing the research and shit, bro. This guy had like home videos, dude, and they played like this one segment. They played this one segment from their home video, bro, where it's the stepdad and the 2 little girls. And it's like, come to find out, like the girl that he was being nice to is the one that he was molesting. Sorry, the one he was being nice to was the one he wasn't molesting. And the one he killed was apparently the one he was molesting. And these girls are like 9 years old, 8 years old. And there's a video clip where he's talking. He's talking to the one that he doesn't molest, the one he's nice to.
Yeah.
And as he's talking, you hear the other little girl go, he's saying something to the girl. He's telling her to like do something specific in the video. And you hear her sister go, "Be careful, he's a pervert." And then he looks over at her and he goes, "Don't listen to your sister. She's a stupid idiot moron." Like that's literally what he says. And then she goes, "Faggot, faggot, faggot, faggot. He's a pervert." And it's just like so fucking sickening and sobering to hear this like in a real live video, bro. It's kind of like the video with that girl, but it's like a real home video where like this sister's basically trying to tell her other sister, he doesn't do it to you, but he fucking is a pervert, and he's hurting me and shit, basically. And it's like this egregious relationship between them two, where like she's like 8 years old calling, her stepdad a faggot, and he's saying she's an idiot on camera, and it's like it's very weird. And he got away with the murder for so long, bro, because he just lied and lied and lied. He said she was a runaway. He paid someone to call him from California. He had lied about so much shit, bro. Like told the family that the cops weren't helping him. do any type of search, but he was telling the cops she ran away and he knew where she was at. And this goes on for like years, dude, to the point where like this little girl's like long gone before like they really realized, oh shit, all that shit was a lie. And they end up doing an investigation. And the craziest part about it is they have an interview with the sister from the news station at the time. And on there, she's like, my father would never do this. She's like, I don't know why. Because at the time, the girl never gets seen. You never hear the girl story. You just know, you put the picture together when it's a full picture.
Yeah.
But when she's on there, she's like, I don't know why people are assuming that my father did something. My father would never do nothing. He loves us. He loved her. You know what I mean? He didn't love the other one. And then like at the end of that podcast, she is doing an interview with the lady from the Crime Junkie podcast. And the lady goes, so is there any part of you that still believes your father's innocent? And she goes, no, not at all. I know he's guilty. And then that's like kind of where it snowballs until like she's trying to get 500,000 signatures so they can repress charges on him basically right now. But they need 500,000 people to sign up to even get it looked at.
Wow.
So there's like a lot of evidence that points towards him. But because 40 years passed, everything's really hard to look up and, and figure out and shit like that. The witnesses and shit like that, like years people die, all types of shit. But now she believes that. So it's like, once they found out that basically he was a liar, bro, the weirdest part about this guy was he recorded everything. Like he was a paranoid schizophrenic, they said. Well, they didn't say schizophrenic, but they said he was paranoid. But like, when you hear it, it's like, it seems like something was wrong. He literally recorded everything, bro, for these girls' entire lives, dude. He had cameras outside where he had every single second saved, bro. 7 cameras outside of every single thing that had every single minute saved, dude. Recorded the phone calls in the house, bro. He's got the girls calling Blockbuster and fucking 19, whatever, fucking 80 or some shit. Like, it's like crazy. He has literally like just thousands of videos, bro. And they find this out and they're like, why didn't you tell us none of this? Because if she's a runaway, we can look at your video, And they ended up getting a warrant and shit to get the data from that day.
Video and shit.
Bro, he's got every day from the last 4 years besides that day. No audio recorded, no video recorded for every day for 24 years except one fucking day. The day that little girl went missing, bro. And he definitely killed her. And they never found her body, but they just know.
So they don't even have a case against the guy.
No, it's just all this basically they want they need somebody to open the case back up because the county that it's in, they can't open it up no more. It's a dead case, basically. So they need, because they need, they could open it up, but they won't be able to get, forensic testing and, that shit snapshot and, shit like I told you like that. That's all federal shit, that they need to come in and basically help. So they need the case basically to get back open on, a federal level.
Right.
And you hear about that a lot, man. It's just, that links me into 2 other stories I wanted to tell you about. One, to sum up real quick, is actually this thing on Amazon Prime. I'm in the process of watching. I'll tell you about it when I finish it. But basically, dude, it was the same situation where this father, he wasn't a pedophile, but he recorded every moment of his 2 sons' lives, every fucking moment. It's very weird, bro, when you see how much film that is. 20 years of film, it's crazy. And as he gets older, this kid starts to develop problems and shit. And basically, this kid's entire life is on film. So you see it from the point that he's it's basically you're watching a home film movie of this kid grow up, but it's getting narrated on what happened. And he was severely molested by clergymen and a politician, I believe. And he's he kind of had blacked it out, basically. But as it was coming in when he got older, he rewatches the videos, bro, and narrates them for you, and shows you his difference in behavior as it was going on over the years. He's like, this is when it started to get bad. You can see I'm mad a lot. You can see how I try to hurt my sister and my brother. You know what I mean?
So that's him.
It's him narrating his own thing. He went back and watched it and went through his memories in his head, and they ended up pressing charges on the guy that did it and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, he got 7 counts of boy molestation and shit. Molestation, but yeah, so that's something I want to tell you about. That's something in the process of watching. It's just very crazy. And I actually want to tell you about this other fucking case here that was crazy to me, bro. It's another very sad one, bro. Once again, I just think it was a different time back then. That's the only excuse I have for these families. But this family lets their 12 and 10-year-old daughters go to the mall, bro, by themselves, yo. That's just insane to me. And you know the crazy thing is, when I went to the mall today, I looked around to see if that was a thing, and I did see two little blind girls the same age, and I'm like, I hope that their parents are at least in the mall, even though that's still not good.
Yeah.
But if you're like you're here and your parents are in the mall, bro, I'm sorry, but your parents are idiots, dude. Like that's crazy. You have to understand the dangers of the world. This is 1975. So I think things were just a little different, but people are still taking kids and shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a half mile away. So I guess maybe they were thinking it's close. I don't know. Anyway, kids go missing, right? So two reports emerge, right? There's this report that emerges of this man that was taking recordings of kids. He was getting kids to record voice messages for homes and shit. And so they're pursuing that lead, right? And then they get another lead that there's a guy with a limp that was trying to seduce women, that was trying to seduce little girls to come with him, basically by being pretending to be a security guard, right? And so they're trying to figure this out and shit, and it's going on and on. These two little girls are gone at this point for days, you know, like they're gone, and they're pursuing it all. Long story short, bro, years are going by, like years go by, and they really got nothing. So eventually, DNA, like a lot of these cases are about DNA getting better, man. That's really what it is. And like these people are very smart, bro, because like in the 70s, they were saving every bit of DNA they could get. Like they knew it was coming. It's crazy. Like it's very cool, bro. So like they saved, like they didn't even know what a semen stain was, bro. They had no idea to tell if something was a semen stain, but they saved stains from rapes. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty cool, bro. They saved that for 30 years and end up booking people with that. It's just very thoughtful knowledge by the police officers.
100%.
So basically that's what they do. You know, they're saving all this shit. So eventually they get enough to figure out who this recording guy was and shit, right? So they come to him, and they got a lot of shit that's like kind of pointing towards them, but they can't get any physical evidence basically to say that he took these girls or he did anything with them. So this guy's name was like Ray Mercer or some shit like that. And sorry, that guy's name was something else. Years go by after that. After they can't get that guy, years go by. This case gets picked up a lot. It actually was getting a lot of attention because it's two little girls. So everybody's always giving an attempt and shit.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting like they look back at this report that was like a couple weeks after these little girls went missing. There was a guy that gave a report. His name was Ray Mercer. And he said that he had seen this guy with this trench coat trying to record messages for with little girls and shit, and that he was with those two little girls that day. And he said he watched them in the food court for like 10 minutes talk to these little girls, right? And obviously this doesn't really do much because it's just hearsay, really. You know, it's really not a physical evidence to tie it to it, so it kind of goes away. Years go by again, it gets picked up again, and they go back and they look. Well, they see that the guy that was suspected of doing it, he got convicted on a different child molestation charge, doing 33 years on a different one. So he was a child molester, but they got no evidence showing that he did that crime. They go back and they start. This is just good police work, bro. It's just good police work. That's all it is. They go back, and it's actually very cool because it's a detective, right? And he's the new guy in this town that has a lot of these unsolved murders. So he gives every detective under his patrol a cold case file and says, solve it, basically.
Yeah.
And he says, well, if I'm going to do that for everybody else, then I got to do one.
Yeah.
So he takes that one. So he's the one working it, right? So he goes back and he reads, and he's looking at this guy, Ray Mercer, who gave that interview, right? Well, come to find out that he gave a polygraph that day too, and he failed it. But that wasn't mentioned before. Like that was very low, you know, deep in the paperwork. So they go back and they start putting things together with this guy, Ray Mercer. And they go back to that thing I told you before of the other person who said someone was pretending to be a security guard and they had a limp. Well, Ray has a limp. And wouldn't you know it, he's also in jail doing 14 years for another child molesting charge. Mind you, he's the one that came forward and said it was someone else,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So it just shows you how many child molesters are out here, dude. That's really what I always try and get to with you. It's like, even they didn't know who it was, they both did some child molesting. And so come to find out, mind you, that guy's not even, he actually never seen that guy that I'm talking about really talk to those girls. He never seen that, right? So they go interview this guy. And he's just bullshitting them, like left and right. He's just lying and lying and lying, bro. But it's been 35 years at this point. So they're just listening. And they just let him talk, bro. And for months, they just let him talk. He likes talking. But it's a bunch, like they can confirm that like 90% of the shit's lies. But every once in a while, bro, he would drop a little truth, yo. And they kept noticing this, right? Because like they always say it's hard to remember a lie, right? But you remember what you've seen. You remember your experience. That's the part that's hard for you to cover up time and time again. It's easy to lie about all the other shit, you know? So over time, bro, they're talking to this guy for like 2 years, yo. And they just keep grabbing. They're verifying every bit of information he give them. They verify. And even though he don't know that, he thinks they're just talking. But they're just, it's in Montgomery County, remind you, too, Maryland.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So it's pretty cool, but cool. But so they're like, they start putting little things together about like these little tidbits that he kept saying every time. Like these parts were the same every time. Like the fact that like eventually his story just morphs, to eventually he becomes the person in the story that was talking to the little girls, bro. It's very creepy, or like it just little bits, and like they just play you the tidbits of like, first he talks about first of all, let's clear up Ray Mercer's family is horrendous people, dude. It's a list of like 35, 40 people, all with incest and rape and molestation charges, bro. A complete sick, vile family, bro.
What the fuck? The whole family was
sisters fuck brothers. So he says, right, in the beginning, he's like, my uncle was talking to the girls, right? And what he did, I don't know. Right. It comes out of nowhere. Remember, I told you it was a whole different guy he was talking about before. Exactly, now it's his uncle.
Yeah.
And then it's his uncle and his cousin that's there, right? And then it's his uncle, his cousin, and him there. And he helps get the girls, but he doesn't go with them afterwards. Then he changes that to say they dropped the girls off, right? But you can see you're getting somewhere, right? You're like, okay, but yeah, keep going. He thinks, he's just talking a bunch of lies, but he doesn't realize he's just talking himself deeper because he actually is saying, like, now you're there. Now we got you there. Bam, So he's like, then he's like adamant on this one part. He says that he came to the house and his uncle had the girls drugged up and they were having sex with them. And then eventually they killed them there and shit like that. Good ass police work. They keep working this. Come to find out, bro, he's the one that was there. He talked to the girls. He took the girls. Nobody was else there. They check everywhere for this spot that they say the body, one of the bodies was broken down in. The last spot they check, his house, bro. 35 years later, they use this a murdial or some shit like that. It shows blood.
Okay.
And this entire room is lit up with blood, bro, because she was dismembered. So they ended up finding that girl's, they found bone fragments because it's very weird. They had a 3-day fire on the farm that no one called like anybody about. So for 3 days, basically, this little girl's body was burning out there. 30 years later, they find fragments in that same spot, bro. And they can't link it back to her because it's so degraded, but they find it back, right? So then they're like, they keep listening to this guy talk. And eventually he talks about he only killed one girl there, bro. He gave the other sister to the other half of the family that lives 5 hours away in Virginia. And they go up there basically, and like you get the point of what happened. Like it's pretty fucking sad. They go up there and they find a tooth, dog. They find a fucking tooth where this guy says that something happened up there. And Steve, you will be amazed how many times you hear the same shit. The tooth was lost, bro. Lost in police custody. So they were never able to link it. People had said it was it was like a child's tooth,
Yeah.
but they were never able to directly link it back, bro. So with all of that evidence, basically, they ended up, well, they also had another guy that was in jail that said that he basically admitted it to him, right? And this guy's like, I was in a gang with him. He told me that because people to he didn't want people to think that he raped a girl. So he was saying his uncle raped him, but he killed him, like trying basically not to be a child molester in prison, right?
Yep.
So he's like, I changed my life around, I'm doing better. So in the first case, he gets found guilty of this. They get him. And it's very rare that you get, like I said, you get a conviction with no body, no murder weapon. Like, you need these things, basically. Yeah. They get him basically based off of that. The second time around, the fucking witness had got himself in trouble with the gang again, bro. So he wasn't allowed to be on there on the appeal, and they got fucking free, bro. And so, yeah, well, he's still serving time for that other one I told you about, but that's a 14-year sentence. This was a 60. So he got off on that, and now the family is in the back of the process of trying to get him convicted again. And this is all 1975, like I said. And what are we? Fucking 45 years later, bro. It's crazy, dude. I just thought that was such a crazy story that I went to tell you on how, like, his story just morphed. It's like he couldn't help but talk, and just over time, it just like it became something. He became the person that, mind you, 3 weeks after it happened, initially, he's the one that came forward and gave that, that said that he's seen someone. He never had to say that. He would have never even been on the paperwork. They had no idea about him. You know what I mean? He's the one that came forward and said he's seen someone talking to the girls. He never had to do that.
Exactly. No, not at all, man.
This guy just liked to talk. You know what I mean?
And then, I mean, like that's a police tactic where they let you continue to talk.
Yeah.
You add one thing, add another. That just keeps morphing itself as you just as you just ask questions, and the guy will keep talking himself into a fucking hole.
Just think about how bad he was, though, to where he gives this basically false thing that he don't even have to give in 1975. 40 years later, they come talk to him about it. And he's like, oh, well, it was actually me that I came and talked about. What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Dude. It's like he must have been at home just paranoid. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, they're gonna know. So then he was like, if I go forward and say somebody else did it, throw him off the track, which it did work. It took him 40 years to catch the dude. You know?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure.
And it sucks because we got to think about is how many more people did he hurt?
In those 40 years that you don't know about.
That's what sucks.
So I'm not sure how true it is, but one thing I heard was that, especially with child molesters and people like of that nature, excuse me, they typically try to insert themselves in the investigation. Especially if they're like serial rapists or serial killers, whether it be like, a false witness or, just a tip, they'll call a tip line or something just to be a part, what I'm saying? It's like, this is some weird, like psychopathic shit, going on every day.
I'll tell you something that I'm not proud that I know anymore, but that I've learned is that basically, if you do got a body on your hands, guys, you remove the teeth and you remove the hands, bro. And it's going to be hard identifying that bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Simple as that. It really ain't much more you can do, bro. You got to have a tattoo or something.
That's the thing, especially with like, if your DNA's never been logged anywhere and held in the system, you're not in any particular database.
Like I told you about that guy they solved.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't in, but they got a relative, dog. Exactly. And it's funny because that happened in another case, dude. And it was in Indiana. And at the time, it was illegal in Indiana to do that. You couldn't use someone's relative's DNA basically to track back to a criminal, a rapist.
That's one thing with DNA is that it's extremely reliable, extremely reliable shit. Unless you get someone who's gonna fuck with it.
I got a lot of shit to talk to you about, but
in the lab.
This may be linked to another one. Let me ask you this, right? How many people since 2000, right, would you say have gone lost on cruise ships and never found?
Let's see. Let me think. About cruises around, especially around year round. It's a tough one to say. I mean, maybe about 10,000 per year. That.
Thank God it's not that number, because that would be insane, Steven. I think you got to really understand what you just said.
Well, I was thinking about how many people go on cruises year round.
If 10,000 people a year went on cruises and never came back and no one knew about them, nobody would go on cruises, dude.
They just leave them at the island, just like, oh, we left them at the island. They must never got back on the island, It's like, oh,
you can't do that. That's a liability. But I actually will tell you some crazy shit.
If people, miss the departure time, it's just like, you're an hour late departure. That boat's not waiting for you.
I think they're legally not allowed to leave, bro. I'm pretty sure.
They do a whole count.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's something that's supposed to happen. They're not allowed to leave you like that. Thank God it isn't what you're saying there, right? But you make the number look dwarf. But since 2000, right, there's over 200 people.
A year?
No, total. That's why I'm very surprised that you thought it would be so high, because that would be like, that's such an insane amount, dude.
2,000 a year?
10,000 a year since 2000. You're talking about 180,000 people gone missing on the last 18 years on cruise ships, dude.
Yeah, but when you think about
nobody would go on a cruise ship.
When you think about how many people cruise and how many different cruises there are around the whole world, you know what I'm saying, bro?
10,000 people, Steve. Like, I think you're just not really thinking about how many people that we missing, dude.
That cruise? It's like,
I mean, you're talking about in America though. Like, total people gone missing is 1 million. So like, if you think 180,000 have gone missing on cruise ships, like, bro, I think that would be like a huge scandal, dude, of like, where the fuck is 10,000 people a year going?
Yeah, but if you think about,
oh my God.
If you think about each particular cruise line had roughly, a certain amount every year, it seems like it could add up pretty easy to 10,000.
10?
There's a lot of cruises around the world, man.
I'm still ain't taking that fucking cruise.
There's a lot of cruises around the world.
You told me last year we lost 10 people. We have no idea where they're at. Like, this is people that are never found. Do you get what I'm saying, Steve? I'm not talking about people that get left at the island.
I could just never found.
These are people who disappear, dude.
Still per year, you know what I'm saying? It's like, let's say a couple with, that doesn't happen in China cruise ships alone. It's like, I'm not saying that like a Royal Caribbean literally has, 2,000 per year. Let's say like some shady cruise lines in the whole world yearly. With 7 billion people in the world, it's like 10,000 would seem,
If it's 10,000, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, because you're trying to do like a number prediction. But I guess also you got to think like you're thinking about how many cruise ships there are right now. Were there that many cruise ships in 2000?
Very true.
Or was there even half?
Very true.
So think about that also. A lot less cruises. Really, cruises probably really picked up the last 10 years. Is when we probably started mass cruising, I would say, where there's probably like 1,000 ships.
People have been cruising for a while. Cruise ships been
I don't think they were cruising in 2000.
Yeah, they were.
I don't think it was like that.
Yeah, people were doing cruise ships. Maybe not like that, but they're cruise ships. No.
There's definitely cruise ships.
I mean, thinking about like
Titanic was a cruise ship.
I was thinking about like how many cruises there are to like Antarctica and in like the northern parts of the world. I'm just like, oh, okay,
Okay, well, let me get back. Thank God it's not the number you said, because that would be horrific, and we probably should all boycott fucking cruises, and I would recommend no one go on a fucking cruise, bro.
Say away. 200.
Because what are I'm just trying to think about that many people. Like, the odds of you, it's pretty much saying every time a boat goes out, you're going to lose someone. Like, that's kind of what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, that is a high percentage. Like, people are we should be losing like 10 a month. If you're saying 10,000 a year, you're saying like, basically we're losing like 800 people a month. Even if it's throughout the world, like, there should be some foundation or something where it's like, bro, 800 people are missing a month. Like, next month, another 800 are gone. Like, that would be so big and so scary.
It would go under the radar because like you don't hear about the ones that happen in America. It's like, a couple thousand went missing last year. Cruise lines.
There's just so many, but it's over 200 people, right, that have gone completely missing. They never found. The story about this one is a long story short, basically, but it's a family of 4: son, daughter, mom, dad. Mom, dad go to sleep. The son and daughter are partying at the nightclub. The son goes to sleep. They wake up in the morning and the daughter's gone. So they have her at like 5:40 a.m. with this drummer that was on the cruise ship, and he was giving her like drinks and shit like that. She's 23, so she's old enough. They dock And basically, like before they even dock at this like Caribbean island, they're already like, our daughter's missing. Like the cruise doesn't want to say nothing because they don't want to like alert their passengers, but like they're all looking for him. Basically, they can't find her, so they go and they dock. And when they're leaving the dock, like the cruise ship's basically like, look, we gotta go, and you can stay here and look for her if you want to. And they're like, well, what? It's like, it hasn't even been 24 hours. Like they don't really know what to do, and they handle shit like a cruise ship like handles it itself, for the most part. They have to contact someone off for them to even know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, I mean, what do we do? So they ended up like leaving, and like they're trying to do shit on the cruises, like they're going, like they're trying to like contact people, blah blah blah. This family ends up getting scammed out of like 180,000, bro, from like this dude who says that he can arrange for it and shit, like arrange for their daughter. People think she was sold into sex trafficking, right? Because this is in 2015, bro. So that she popped up on this page. She went missing in like 03. So it's like 12 years later. So she'd be like 35. This woman pops up on this online sex site in that country. It's like Mitsubishi or some shit. I forget even how to say it. In that country. And they do like forensic analysis on this woman's face structure and shit. And like this FBI guy's like, I'll bet my career that is the woman you're looking for. So basically, like they were saying, like she was still alive on there, but they were never able to track back where that picture even came from or nothing along the line. So they believe like that was her, but they never found her, bro. And there was one thing that like confused me with that case because it's like they were like the thing was, did she fall over or was she sold into sex trafficking? But they have her with this drummer guy up until 6:00 a.m. Everybody wakes up like around 9, like an hour later, not even like 7:45. So it's like there's like an hour and a half span basically, and she's with this guy last, bro. You want to hear some creepy shit though, bro? So when that cruise ship finally does dock at its final spot, they go and they get the cops to come on the cruise ship and shit. Every picture of that girl on the boat was gone, bro. They had like boards everywhere. These people go around and just snap Polaroids of you and they post it on these like pin boards and shit.
Mm-hmm.
All of hers were gone, yo. Isn't that creepy as fuck, bro?
Big ass cruise ship.
Yo, and multiple. They said she took pictures all night, bro. Like she had like 20 pictures up there, dude. And somebody came and took all of them down. Just hers, bro. Anyone she was in. Here was my thing that I was like thinking. I'm like, what if he drugged her? You know what I mean? Or he raped her unwillingly. She fought back or something and he killed her. And he just chucked her off of the side of the cruise ship. Like, isn't that a possibility too?
Yeah.
It's like they never really like embraced that one. So I don't know if there was some evidence that didn't lead towards it or something or what. But basically where they were at when she went missing, they were saying like the water wasn't that bad. Like she probably could have survived. She was a good swimmer. She probably could have survived until like Coast Guard came and
Right,
shit.
exactly, yeah.
So they just don't understand. And they never found that girl, bro. And that family had to go back home, without their daughter, bro. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I couldn't imagine that. So like, yeah, 10,000, that would just be absolutely crazy. But over 200, just think about that, That means like 2 or 3 people a year go on cruise ships and disappear, bro.
Yeah.
That means they were never found dead. They were never found alive. They were never heard of again. It's very creepy, bro.
Yeah. I think about a lot of those where like people just go missing and nothing's ever found. You only have to assume that they're dead, but it's completely because I mean like they could be alive and well and just you're just not even looking for this person.
That was the hard part with
that
that picture, bro. Where like, the FBI guy's like, I swear on everything that's the girl you're looking for.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the cruise told her that they were gonna leave. Like, good luck. If you want to stay, you can stay. It's like, oh my god. And then you don't even alert anyone on board.
The people to look, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You get everyone on board is like looking for this little girl. You may actually come up with something. You know what I'm saying? It's like that needs to be taken very seriously.
Here's something I learned today. What do you think is the one thing, right, that is the hardest to change on someone's face with plastic surgery?
to change on someone's face, we got lips,
Like if I was
cheeks,
trying to change my face,
nose.
what do you think's like the hardest thing? Like the cops are looking for me. I don't want them to find me.
I think your eyes probably, you
Mm.
know, but because you can work on everything else, you know, like you can work on everything else. So
It's
I think
that
the eyes.
one thing, bro, that you never think about, and it's your braille direction, bro. It's one thing that will never change. The way that your eyebrows grow
area,
in,
you know,
you're never gonna make hair grow in somewhere else. That you get what I'm saying? Like you can't make a unibrow. You know what I mean? You can't eliminate a unibrow.
No,
like it's just one. So that's something I learned today. Where like that's what the FBI guy was saying about that picture. He's like, the jaw looks like her, the nose looks like her, the mouth looks like her. All that's great. But you can see her eyebrows are the same exact, and that's something that you can't change.
Yeah,
like you're gonna have the same exact structure, just like your eyebrows are different than mine, K's are different than ours. You know, like people, it's funny you don't think about it though.
Spot,
yeah,
you know
a different. You know, because some people goes like that, some
Yeah.
people goes like that, some people's like that, some people's thick, some people's small.
Just weird side note is like, you know, like it's funny because like it's such a weird place to grow hair, just like right there above your eyes real quick. It makes sense, you know, sweat, whatever the case may be, blah 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 blah. But then you realize how important it is for expression when someone removes their eyebrows and you look at it and it's like, you look fucking weird. You know, it's like I think it's
Even when you do that, right? It's like
so. I was thinking about one day. I'm just like, all right, look. So like I think about people who don't have eyebrows and the shock that it has with people when you look at. I'm just like, I think it has a lot to do with us, you know, being like, you know, like we're you know a lot of body language, and I think eyebrows are tied directly to like expression. You know, as far as like anger or like surprise or you know like whatever the case may be. So when you see someone without them, like I freak out. It's kind of like a monkey just being like, just being confused and like there's something off about you, bro.
The fuck,
bro? There's something fucking off about you. You know? So I don't fucking know you.
Same thing. Same thing. You got no eyelashes.
Yeah,
you know, there's people with no eyelashes.
You can look about it as a little easier. You know what I'm saying? Then you can.
But once you notice it, you never not see it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right, man. It's like, because I look at them, I was like, my eyebrows are like, my eyelashes are like thick as fuck.
I was like, how?
Yeah, I'm saying, and like, then you see someone, I'm just like, bro, like, your eyes are bald, dog. Like, that is weird. You're right, man. Yeah, you're definitely right. I wonder if there's any type of negative things that come from something like that.
I mean,
like, do you get shit in your eye easier?
Definitely.
You know, do you just get sweat in your eye? You're just like,
you definitely shit in your eye easier.
I'm gonna say it's so weird to have like
I know there's like the little things at the end there. That's the real weird thing is eyelashes. Just like these little hairs that go off. They form a certain direction just to keep shit away from your eyeballs.
Are there any other animals that grow patches of hair like us the way we do? You know what I'm saying?
I just want to know. It seems like do you have eyelashes? Do all animals have eyelashes?
All or nothing. It seems like all or nothing type of deal.
Does a monkey have eyelashes?
Dogs have eyelashes.
They do?
No, they don't.
They don't.
Yeah, no.
Right, they don't.
No. That's why their eyes. I think that's why their eyes run so much.
Does a cat?
You know? Like I think their eyes run a little bit more. Neither does a cat. No. I think horses do. I don't know.
Obviously, snakes.
But they obviously have way better, you know, eyes than we do. Like cats have way better eyes than we do. You know what I'm saying?
Horses don't got.
No, they have bad. Yeah. I think they have good eyesight. It's just awkward because like the way they see.
I really can't picture anything else with eyelash, bro.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. Maybe just monkeys, but you know, even that.
I mean, you think about it, whoops, fox, rabbit, like.
Well, even that. I mean, I guess you know, besides gorillas, where they don't have like the stuff on their stomachs and chests, you know, like it seems like most animals have all or nothing type of deal. You know, like no one has the generalized patches of hair like we do. Like we on top of our head, right here, we grow some facial hair, and your underarm and pubic hair.
Well, they don't migrate,
you know,
the way we did. You know, we're migrated everywhere, so we're gonna have different kinds of hair. Where like they have the hair they need.
It's just weird to think that like we would evolve in a way where like we may get less hair. Like seems like an advantage to have the fur always.
In the heat?
I mean, even in the heat, you know, it's like a protecting your skin, you know, from everything, you know. Like the sun, especially. I mean, I guess melanin. You know,
dude, I couldn't imagine I couldn't imagine being like in the desert with body hair. And it just like it's so sweaty that like your body hair is like folded now, like stuck to your body. You know what I mean?
Have sweat glands because most,
That's.
I think are we the only animal that perspirates as well, like sweats?
I don't know if we're the only animal, but I know that pigs don't. So I always thought there must be other ones because
And
they really push
dogs
that.
don't. I mean, a lot of things don't sweat. I mean,
Does
especially
a
if you have
dog not
hair.
sweat? Are you sure?
The dogs don't sweat. No, that's why they pant, and that's why they're like they cool off a lot through the paws as well.
Okay.
You know.
I just never knew if something was going on underneath that fur.
Yeah, dogs pant. Yeah, they don't sweat. Neither do cats.
Can you think of
Cats pant too.
anything sweating?
That perspirates. I don't know fucking clue, man. I don't think so. I really don't.
Do fish sweat?
I think hippos might.
Huh. That's a good question.
Hippos might. I have no idea. You know, that's the only reason I can think of us being able to like doing something like that is that we perspirate just so we can like run and exert energy more. You know, and like that'd be a way more like big positive for us to lose the fur, especially. And so maybe we could swim a little bit. I don't fucking know.
We just suck. We just. We talked about
it before.
Smart
for our own good.
We're really smart, but we're weak. You know, like we talked about before, like we're really weak when you think about it, bro. We need the perfect conditions to survive. Like it can't be too cold. It can't be too hot. Oxygen has to be the perfect level with hydrogen. You know what I mean? Like I need it to rain. But you can't rain too much to where you kill the crops, you know, but you can't rain too little to where they don't grow. Like you need so many things. You need the sun. Like even that was such a great point like Joe was making earlier. It's like every day we depend on the earth to heat water, but don't boil it. I mean, the sun, you know, to heat water on earth, but don't boil it. You know, it's like be hot. Don't be too hot where I can't drink it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're so weak.
A lot of life is dependent on that. You know, I mean, I think it's a trade-off for having the brain that you do. You know,
but think about something like a water bear, right? Like that thing's dumb as shit, but damn, is it strong, bro? You can't kill it. You're so easy to kill. You're smart, but you're so easy to kill. That water bear's dumb to you, right? But you can't kill it. No matter,
you know,
dude, look how smart we are. But look how smart we are. We literally developed everything we possibly can and used it on the water bear and can't kill it.
Yeah, it's a water bear, you know.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
you know, but you can survive, you can thrive. You know, it's like it's just
who's really thriving? That water bear ain't gonna be here long after you are.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But water bear have a lifespan.
Like the one thing, you know.
Even though it can't be killed, it still have a lifespan.
Yeah, you know, like though it's like the one thing, and that's a microorganism. You know, it goes by different properties than we do, man. You know, it goes by a completely different thing.
Cool, bro. And I just wish that we had like that type of ability, you know? Like I wish we could go in space with no suit. And that's tell me that's one you wouldn't be pissed about, dude. Now, I know you said the moon or flat earth doesn't bother you. But if they told you we could breathe in space, dude, and they lied,
I would.
That sucks, bro. We could have been in space, bro.
The spacesuits are a lie.
That was another good point. I love the Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell podcast, man. They're just like those two should just have a podcast together or something, man. They're just awesome, yeah. They're both just like they just vibe really good together, and they talk when they get high and they start vibing, like they start talking about shit like how we do, and they just start coming up with shit. And Joe just made one great point where he was like, imagine if you were out in the universe somewhere and you're just chilling, and then Earth going at the speed that we are right now comes by you. You know what I mean? You're just like, what the fuck?
You probably wouldn't even see it, really.
I mean, it's big enough. Like if it came right by you, like let's say you're on a moon, you know what I mean? And the Earth cycle came by you going, what did we go, like 88,000 miles an hour or something like that?
I think somewhere higher than that.
Is it higher?
It's been like some crazy fast.
And we just come around this big ass fucking ball, yo. It just comes fucking flying in that fast, that close to you, just like, what the fuck? That would be insane. Yeah, I was like, he does such a great job. Like, I think that's one of Joe's great abilities is being able to put like things in perspective like that. You know, it's like that's like, and he usually does a pretty good job describing what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, like that would be. Like the speed and the sound it probably would make, bro. It's just like,
oh my god,
I'm not even sure what an object that thing sounds like.
I feel like I'll have a heart attack, dude.
What does it sound like? Just
like, right, the sound, the sheer sound, right?
Imagine, especially like you're like some crazy like hallucinogenic, and it's just like some real shit like that happens. And you're just like.
I feel so small and weak.
Oh my god!
I feel so small and weak. That's like
I might have a heart attack.
That's another thing, bro. Even though we don't have all the water bear characteristics, like we have thumbs. That's pretty much our abilities. Like thumbs are like venom. You know what I mean? We don't have nothing else, bro. We don't got cool claws. We don't got cool teeth.
Well, it's
either,
like the ability
dude.
to make. You know what I'm saying? Like the ability to like
We
hold
can make
things.
shit.
It's
great.
Huge thing.
And it's great. But all I'm saying is, like,
advantages.
imagine a situation you were just saying. Imagine, you're lost up in space. You're on the moon, and, people come running up on you, and you ain't got time to make nothing.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
man.
I have nothing to... Oh, here. Best I can do.
Yeah.
Fold these.
Yeah.
Now this is like this, but these still break.
100%, man. 100%. But
Tighten these up. Tighten these up on my wrist.
But like what this ability has done, and like has
it's obviously it showed its superior.
I think about it's like you're like, okay, we can't breathe in water. We made something for that. We can't fly. We made something for that.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But think about this, dog. It's also the fact that ability came into a monkey. Right? Because if this intelligence was in an alligator, we're still walking on all four how an alligator walks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
The only reason we're able to stand up is because we were already so close to doing it. The way that a monkey, already goes about things, they stand up sometimes already. Yeah. It's like the one creature that fits perfectly into our mold. Yep. That's why evolution does make sense, because they do seem very similar, and it does seem perfectly fine. Where it's like, if they told you came from an alligator, you would never believe that.
That's why I wish we had the feet like orangutans and monkeys do. Because they have like the grabbing feet. And
yes,
come on, like
we got nothing cool. So I'm telling you, Steven.
Come on, man.
We've got nothing,
we
bro.
That.
Dude. How about just like one gill, where it's like I can at least go down kind of how like a whale does, not as long, but like I can kind of hold my breath like that, where I could do like you can give us nothing cool, bro. You can give us nothing cool.
Yeah,
thumbs, awesome. Big brain, awesome. Not complaining at all. Well, fuck, bro. Who wouldn't with some venom you could spit at the bottom of your tongue? It's like, dude, the ultimate rape repellent, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Or you have the strike speed of like a cobra, where it's like,
yeah. I just wish like God had given our women venom underneath of their shit, that like acid venom.
Or like,
they should give our women acid venom.
And like the male is like we like headbutt each other. Like we're just like.
Yeah,
ram
style.
Like exactly. We're just like,
every time I think about it, bro, like I just think about Pokemon. Like when I'm looking at that duck, I'm like, that duck, when we was down Duce Dock, it's like that duck is a Pokemon, bro. It's so crazy, like that this thing right now is coexisting with me. We look nothing alike. We have no similarities, bro.
Yeah.
That thing has abilities that I don't have. And I'm a Pokemon, that has abilities it doesn't have, bro.
We're
Pokemon. That's really what I'm getting
I was thinking the same thing the other day, because I watched this video of this peregrine falcon. It was defending its nest, and these fucking big ass pelicans came flying by, and the bird's just like, the bird's just like, fuck you. All right, we're flying. So this bird starts coming out of nowhere, starts fucking doing these aerial acrobatics and moves around him, comes in, clips them real quick, and just throws them off balance. And now once these birds get all spinning and tumbling in the air, they can't fucking regain their sit. So they're just smacking the water. This falcon takes out all fucking four of them, just like,
whoa, bink, boom, send me that vid.
Boom, and just flying, just comes in, bink, boom, and just like these things are just fucking like.
So what are these though?
These are big ass pelicans.
No chance.
So with those big ass things that can fill water and stuff.
Yeah. So like, they're not fighters though.
Well, that's the thing, but I never realized
they deliver children.
I never realized with birds though that like you come in, you get clipped, you throw off balance, you can't regain your flight momentum.
No, a pelican can't. But I guarantee you, if a hawk gets clipped, it'll regain.
That's what I'm saying. So like when it was followed, it was crazy. This bird just like fucking like aerial. It's a fucking aerial dog fight going over here, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro. Yeah.
I was looking at him, just like, we really took things from nature, and like that's a fighter jet, bro.
Yeah.
Someone's got a fighter jet, and we're just like,
bro, it's designed like a bird. Exactly, you know what I mean? It's designed for a hawk diving, basically. Exactly. It's that same aerodynamic aspect. And what gave them that? You know what I mean? They were designed for that also. God, universe, evolution, whatever you want to give it to. They were designed like that because that's what they do. So they're designed like that. They're designed. Why is a bird designed aerodynamic, right? Because you can have wings and not be aerodynamic, the way that the beak is shaved, the abilities, you know what I mean? But I think that they were even made that way, right?
Turkeys, I think they're made, yeah.
They're made that way though, right?
Yeah,
like they would fly way better if it wasn't for us, I believe.
Yeah,
like I think we've did some shit there.
Yeah. I think even wild turkeys don't do some shit. I don't know. Whatever.
You got wings, you better figure it out, dude. That's all I can say.
Well, that's what I think is weird about an ostrich, because it has the wings and shit. It's a bird, but it runs. That's a weird thing.
It's too big. That's the
problem.
But
like it has all the wings and shit and the feathers, but it runs.
It's just too big.
Why is it even a bird? Like, why would it have the feathers and the wings, but it just fucking runs like fucking fast as shit? It's so weird.
The only thing
with like emus, it's like, or a peacock. It's like, it's weird. You're a bird, but like you don't fly. You're just a bird that walks. Like, it doesn't seem like that would survive in any world.
I think it's more about the offspring style, though, right? It's the fact of you need something that lays an egg in this predicted environment. We can't have live births don't do well in this spot where ostriches thrive. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I can think. Is like, look, you don't gotta fly. That's not one of your necessities. That's why ostriches are badass though, right? You don't fuck with an ostrich, dude.
They start off flying and they were just like, I can run better. It's like, why did it's just weird.
And they do run fast as fuck.
Yeah, like 30 miles an hour.
Like I said, the thing I'm thinking is just like evolution designed something that laid an egg. So it designed something that laid an egg, and it wasn't a snake. It wasn't.
There. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't. It wasn't that. But there's plenty of them too. They're there too. But we need as many creatures to develop life as we can. And this is your ability, basically. I don't know. Why don't we look it up real quick? Why don't we look it up? Why can't an ostrich fly? Like, why is it that ostriches can't fly? Why did God do that to them? Can you imagine if we just had like little baby ass wings like on the back of us? Like hummingbird wings were on your back. Like you couldn't do nothing with them.
Okay, so ostriches, emus, cassowaries, rayas, and kiwis can't fly. Their flat breastbones lack the keel that anchors the strong pectoral muscles required for flight. Their puny wings can't possibly lift their heavy bodies off the ground. So if they had those connections,
throw the word puny in there.
So if they had those connections, they might. Ostriches. Even if the ostrich had that, I don't think it'd be able to fly itself. It just seems crazy.
But then here's the thing that I keep thinking. Think about pterodactyl, right? Because a pterodactyl's bigger than an ostrich. But they were also
built for flight, though. They were just big flight monsters.
But you literally just said even if it had that, it couldn't. But now we're talking about if it did have it. So they're built for flight.
Yeah, but it was also proportional to where like
that's true. It's aerodynamic again.
It had it was like a bat.
So they say.
Like the pterodactyl had its wings that connected all the way down to its feet. Just like.
And now Exxon. Is using its fuel. And now Exxon is pumping out pterodactyl blood from our planet.
It's just so.
Dude, what about if there was a way to control like Earth on the inside? That's what I like to picture. I like to picture my Earth like a national treasure type of movie. And once you get past all the molten lava levels, you get to the middle and there's a control box. And you get to choose what flight path you want to be in the cosmos.
So it's saying right here that the ancestor of the ostrich was a flying bird. And then because of I'm sure if I open this, the aforementioned conditions,
his legs got big.
So the continental drift. So there's no evidence that they existed before this drift.
Do flamingos fuck? I mean,
flamingos fuck.
I mean, not flamingos, ostriches.
Oh yeah, they fuck. Yeah.
So do ostriches have balls?
So the mass extinction of the dinosaur population also heavily contributes to why the ostrich remains flightless. When they ruled the world, their large bodies, as accompanied with rapid mating techniques, took up most of the space of their environment, and they went extinct. There was a lot of free land to be accounted for. Because of all this free land, many aerial animals, most importantly birds, began to adjust to land life. One of these was the ostrich. So it was flightless, and then I guess once the dinosaurs died out, there was more open land.
Right. It didn't have to fly.
Exactly, just to walk the land, so.
Yeah. Can you just look up if they have sex real quick, though?
Ostriches?
Yeah, like, does an ostrich hop on another ostrich and fuck it? Does an ostrich have balls?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so they fuck. Yeah, there's videos of them mating.
They hop on top of each other?
Yeah.
But like a rooster doesn't fuck a chicken, right? Doesn't a chicken just lay an egg and then you have to keep it warm and that's how it becomes a baby?
I think they lay eggs. Period. Yeah.
They lay eggs anyway,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
What's that called? A something.
Well, so technically, when they lay those eggs, it's an egg period. They're shedding that shell casing. They're shedding that through a process for reovulation from the.
Isn't it weird that it makes a casing like that?
Yeah,
super
super weird.
Crazy, right? Because women don't have a casing. You know what I mean? They just bleed it out.
Yeah, I mean it's all
But it's the same egg. Birth. It's the same thing. Though. It's an egg.
It's all popped through birth. Because like if you're like, I watched a couple C-section videos. And when they first peel it back, like the baby's still on like this like sack.
It is in a shell.
And they gotta like they've even pulled it out, and like the baby technically didn't know it was born yet. So
right.
In the sack.
I seen that.
And I was just like, oh my god, like what?
I don't like
fuck, that, man. Oh, that's so weird, man.
That's a bad start to life.
It's crazy.
Natural birth.
I'm just like,
what a natural birth, dude.
Wow. It's just it's a
that's
very
another thing, bro. It takes us 9 months to have a baby, and we can only have well, I guess you can have more, but you're gonna have one. On average, it's like we can only produce one. Think about like a rat. God, imagine
a rat
fucking 45 babies a year, or some shit, bro. Like, probably on the low end.
I think if we were in like the prey family of which like rats were in, we would evolve more advanced mating techniques. But because that gestation wasn't
if maybe there wasn't
hinder us,
maybe there wasn't marriage, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, a man could technically impregnate. I mean, I could impregnate 5 women a day.
Yeah, I remember I was reading a lot. Like a while ago, I read into a lot. Could
impregnate 30 women.
Like it was like all of it was like a lot of like how like people like have evolved over time and like things that like we have and why it is like that. It's like I remember like
I like that shit.
I remember like one of the things was like with like with particular ways that the men and women's orgasms work. Female orgasm isn't required for conception. Male orgasm is required for conception. So men evolved to just bust loads. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Whereas like the female orgasm didn't really evolve much. You can trigger it. It feels awesome, but it's not that hardwired thing that like men have where they can just like fucking bust the load in you and just be good to go. Like, I mean, like in like 2 seconds flat type of deal. You can just bust quick. So I mean, like men can literally go so that like they can just go from like women to women, and literally inseminate them. They give birth, and then like the other species it keeps moving. So we are very effective at birthing. And the sexual thing, but the gestation period is very long, 9 months. Yeah.
And the labor process, dude.
Labor process as well, yeah.
Bro, I've seen a fucking...
Well, that's a whole thing for a lot of animals, man. Labor is very intensive for animals across the board.
I literally watched a fucking... I think it was a zebra. It was a zebra. It fucking gave birth, bro, standing up and dipped.
And the baby got ate.
And the baby got ate, bro. Yeah. That's sad, but...
I mean, that's like survival shit, but I mean, like horse births.
I mean, that's not possible with a woman, bro. A woman will never be able to do that, bro.
100%.
She would be wrecked if she pushed the baby out that quick. She would be absolutely wrecked.
Under a similar circumstance, possibly, under the threat of, death, possibly could happen like that,
It's weird how, like, the motherly instinct, ain't it? That's another weird thing.
Yeah.
Like, the connection, like that blew my mind, like, when I learned that when a baby cries, the mother's boobs will lactate.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's
right. That's like the same. That's like that. That's like why do sea turtles know to just guy it to the ocean?
Right. Just
why do they know that?
They gotta run.
How do they even know what the ocean is or where they gotta go or anything, dude?
So from my understanding is that they don't because some turtles run the wrong way and die. But then so apparently how it works is
the vast majority run the right way.
Since it's all like survival of the fittest. So when these things survive, they continue to pass on their genetics and technically their knowledge, as embedded in the genetic code. and you're able to pass that on and pass it on. So the ones that make it to the water pass on, that to however many.
I picture like a follow the leader thing.
And just keep because some go to the wrong way and die.
I think you come out of that shelter, you got no one there. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Then you look over, you see someone that is just like you, and he's going towards the ocean. You just go. You do the same thing he does.
So like the way I look at it, man, is like evolution is just pretty much just like it's pretty much artificial intelligence, deep learning. Where it's like. There's been many things that have evolved and then have went
programmed in your RNA,
and they just weren't good at surviving like other things were. So you think
well, think about why does that even occur, bro? It's because a turtle literally cannot defend anything from eating its eggs.
Exactly.
All it can do is to defend itself.
That's why they bury them on the beach and they just gotta get out of there. Yeah.
You ever see that cougar that broke that turtle shell?
I think so. They was like smashing it, wasn't he?
In his mouth, bro.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Jaw power, boy. One, jaw power. Broke a tortoise's fucking shell, bro.
Yeah.
How? That doesn't even make sense. That's like the hydraulic compression thing we were talking about. Like, I don't even understand it.
Yeah.
I don't even understand that. Or like, like a pit bull's jaw, how it's designed to lock in like that.
Bro.
Like, what? But a Shih Tzu ain't. No, not Shih Tzu. It's not called a Shih Tzu. I always call that from Dumb and Dumber. I don't know if you remember. He's like,
which one?
He's like, we made it a Shih Tzu. Maybe it is a Shih Tzu. Then he's like, we made it a Shih Tzu and a Bulldog. We call it a bullshit Tzu. Or something bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. It was a Shih Tzu. Yeah. Yeah, we made it a Shih Tzu and a Bulldog. I called it a bullshit. He was just like. It was like, yeah, just going crazy. Yeah, I think he was talking to that woman.
I'll tell you the part that made me geek the hardest on that. It was like one of the hardest times I ever laughed. I watched that movie alone for the first time, and the part where you've seen the movie then, right?
Yeah.
The part where he sells the whip for that little moped.
Yeah,
and he pulls up on it. He's like,
"Oh yeah,
just when I thought you couldn't do anything worse, you go and do something like this." And totally redeem yourself. And then he hops on there. But the part I'm talking about is when they're driving, he's like, I gotta pee, man. He's like, just go. I ain't stopping. And then they finally get an Aspen. And when they get off, he's stuck.
He stuck his ass, yeah.
That part made me geek so hard for some reason, bro. And they're going up the fucking hill like 30 miles an hour. Everybody's beeping at him and shit.
I remember the
first one's so much better.
The one thing I geeked at so fucking hard at was when they were around the fire, and he was just like, oh, I'm so cold. My hands are freezing. And he was just like, oh, here, have a pair of my gloves. And he had 2 pair of gloves on and gave him a pair. He was like, my hands are actually sweating.
Yeah.
You had gloves this whole time? Well, yeah, we're in the Rockies.
That was great. Remember when they're like fighting over the briefcase? The same scene.
Yeah.
They're fighting over the briefcase and no, not that part. They put it all back together. That's when they figure out about the money and they start spending the money.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the same thing happens where like they open up the briefcase. He's like, that's it. That thing is full of fully promised IOUs that we are 100% paying back, and there's no money left.
Yeah, I remember they were balling. They pulled up in the Lamborghini to match with that ski outfit.
Bro, that was great. But when they go to the ball and they got the top hats, bro, I want to do that one day. I want that outfit,
bro. Orange, bro.
We should do it for Halloween or something one day, bro. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Bro.
I really appreciated that. I was thinking about that the other day too. Like I was thinking,
it was drip.
That was drip, dude. Dude, that was insane.
Bro, the ski outfits. It was the Lambos.
Drip, bro. I mean, like, I remember, like I forget the exact scene, but like when he gets the Lambo, he like hands the dude like 25 grand or something like that, and then he's just like, he writes the IOU.
Yeah,
puts it in the thing. It's so funny.
Yeah,
but I love how they had the big top hat in the cane, dude. Mm-hmm. But it was something I was thinking about the other day. I was like, man, I had a suit one time in my life, but I never had a suit made. And I had one suit for 5th grade graduation at John Rower, bro, and that was like it. And that was like a secondhand store type of thing, So I want to get a suit made for myself.
I do too, man. I do too. I've never had one. Like I've always like rented tuxedos. You always feel good and
bro. Yeah.
I remember
you want to get fit.
Yeah, I remember I went to my sister's wedding last year, and I had one on. I was full blown out. I was just like,
I've never worn one completely.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, you feel. I say, I've always wanted to wear a tie. I want to wear a tie every day.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, trust me, bro. For a little while, bro, I was into this shit. Like where I was learning I was. Just,
you wore that little goth gay tie, a little black one. I wasn't with a red shirt.
I wasn't wearing shit, but I was learning. I remember it was 1920. I remember I was learning the rules of the rules of how when you dress up with shit like that, matching colors and patterns and stuff like that. I remember I was like, bro, I just want to wear a suit every day.
Yeah.
Not I want one to be required at work. I just want to be able to wear one every fucking day.
I would rather wear a suit than anything else.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I was saying I don't want to have a job where I'm required to wear a suit.
But
I just want to wear one.
The thing that made them so drippy was the colors.
Yeah.
It was that orange teal.
And it was solid throughout with the shoes.
Yeah, all the way out.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
That bitch was crisp.
And if you look, they got the silk blouse on, the little ruffle,
yeah. And then they show up in a horse carriage or something.
Yeah, they did.
They went hard, bro.
Exactly. They came in sword fight with the cane. They were like,
that movie is so great. That's a great movie.
Oh, that was one. I used to watch it so fucking much when I was younger, bro. I watched it a lot when I was younger.
The second one just,
The most recent one, or the one where they were kids, where they met.
The one where they're kids is not as good as the first one, but it's not horrible.
Yeah, I still like it. Yeah.
The newest one sucked.
Yeah, the one where they were both old.
Yeah,
because there was Dumb and Dumber, there was Dumb and Dumberer, right?
Right.
Or was that the kid one? No, because they had two Dumb and Dumbers. Dumb and Dumber, Dumb and Dumberer.
Dumb and Dumber, Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah. Then they had
Dumb and Dumber something.
Dumb and Dumber, Harry meets Lloyd.
Yeah, exactly.
Those two old ones were great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cool.
The first one was great. The other one's good.
Yeah, it was good. The first one was great. The other one's good.
There was one part
of the one is terrible.
I like the one when they're younger. There was the one part where he's in the girl's bathroom. Yeah. They got the chocolate bar.
Bob Saget.
Yeah, he just goes, there's shit everywhere.
He's shit. It's on the walls. It's on the ceiling.
That was great.
It's on the ceiling.
I can't wait for fucking movies to open back up, bro. I'm gonna hit the movies every week.
They announced stage 3, so movie theaters will open up 50% capacity. So
when?
There you go. Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
I think I'm gonna go see a movie, dog.
That's the one thing, man. Is in Maryland, I'm not worried about it, bro, because we've done pretty good with this shit. So I think we're good to open up some shit. You know what I'm saying,
dude? At this point, I'm sure if I had it and got over it, or didn't show no symptoms, I'm pretty sure we've had it, bro.
You think so?
I would say that there's probably about 90. I'd say there's a 90% chance that I had it, and I'd say there's probably about 60% you had it, maybe 70.
Think so?
Yeah. Dude, it's been too long.
Well, I haven't had any of that throat thing or So,
but you can be asymptomatic. 70% of people are asymptomatic.
Yeah, but don't you eventually get sick anyway? You would get sick,
No. Asymptomatic means you show no symptoms. That happened to so many people, bro. That's what happens to a lot of athletes right now. Like those fighters, dude, once again got fucked this week. Ian Kutabola fucked me the second time on a goddamn bet. Right before they fucking go out there, he tests positive for COVID. He was fully trained, bro. He was ready to go. He thought he was getting a dub. He didn't know anything was wrong with him.
I was gonna say, I thought it was 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks asymptomatic, and then since you're the carrier, you would eventually get sick.
No. Asymptomatic means you do not show symptoms.
Yeah, I know that, but I thought that meant you would eventually get it.
Nope. But shout out to Brian's mom, bro. Is out of the ICU.
That's good.
Hey, that's good, right? That sounds real good, man.
Recovering, man. Yeah, big shout out to him.
Yes, that's awesome. Man. That's so good to hear. You love hearing the good stories, right?
Yeah, because that was one thing when that really shook me when that particular thing happened with Brian.
That was the closest person I heard.
Exactly. So that one really was just oh yeah, this shit's real.
Wow. And how the damage it did was
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's why when people are saying it's fake, I'm like, well, listen, I was a dumbass right here with you saying it's probably not gonna be a big deal. I'm telling you right now.
That's all on video.
I'm telling you right now, one of my fucking best friends is telling me it wrecked his mom, dude. It ain't make believe. It ain't make believe, bro. Her lungs didn't just shut down. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. Exactly. So I mean,
I'm so tired of arguing about it, dude. Like, I'm just so tired of arguing about things, bro. And I love a good argument, and I'm tired of arguing about things. I was just thinking about it today, like, people are really just letting their egos get the best of them, bro. You really just want to be a part of the argument. At this point, I don't even think people know what side they're fighting for, bro. It's just, I want to be a part of the argument. What are you saying? Who are you with? Duncan Trussell said something so great, right? He said they don't want you to know who you are because then they can't tell you who you are. And it's like, I think everybody should think about that, bro. I really just let that sink in, They want to be like, Donald Trump said what? I hate that. Doesn't matter what Donald Trump said, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with conservatives, with someone on the left, it'd be the same exact thing. Well, Bernie Sanders said what? I hate that. What do you think? I hate that. It's like
we were talking about before. I remember, the older dude at my work comes to me and just says some conservative shit. It's just like, I don't have the energy for you, guy.
What I'm saying is that's perfectly fine. If you come at me with facts, you come at me with stats, you come at me with your opinion, I love it, dude. What I'm having a problem with is these dumbasses, bro, that want to share these things like they know. I have very low political knowledge, but I know some shit about politics. These are people who know less than me speaking shit like they know it's fact. When I know more than them, and I still don't speak it like it's fact because I don't fucking know what goes on behind closed doors. So when you're out here and you're saying this shit like, oh, you know how much it'll cost for free healthcare? How much? How much would it cost a week out of your paycheck for free healthcare? Do you know that? No, you're just against free healthcare. Yeah. And I can tell you 30 cents. You don't even fucking know. You didn't give a second, bro. And also on the opposite side, oh, you're for free healthcare? Well, I didn't tell you how much it was. What if I told you it was $370 a week? You wouldn't want free healthcare then. You know what I mean? So don't be ahead of yourself just because you want to be a part of the argument.
Right. Right.
And I think that's ego that's really getting people because they're like, especially when you're friends. Once your friends are like making that argument, then you want to be a part of that argument too. And you want to be on that side and you want to get involved in that, And then there's people who want to go against that and go, no, what you think's wrong and this is right. And it's like, I keep going back to that podcast because it was good, bro. It really was good because they kept stressing the one thing was like, just people really need to keep reminding themselves we have way more in common than we do different, you know? Like, there's very few things that separate us, bro. And at the end of the day, everyone wants just their family to be safe and they want to be happy. There's very few diabolical people in the world who are like, I want to see the world burn. Most people just want their success.
Exactly.
They want safety. They want happiness. That's it.
And
that's it.
And you watch what these politics do to people, bro.
But you also like these one little cases, like even that guy Kyle, like that's one case of somebody doing that. That's a Kyle problem. That's not a Black Lives Matter protest problem. And that's not any white guy with an AR problem. You know what I mean? That's a Kyle Rittenhouse problem. That's who that guy was, bro. Why let that one diabolical person make everyone else hate each other? You know what I mean?
So 100% get that. But I mean, like when you look at, the political climate of America, you know what I'm saying, and what it is now. I mean, like you have the multiple of these instances where these, political things, political bouts, with the counter protest of this, counter protest and that, whatever. Pull out the ugliest in people, bro. I mean, like it happens every day on social media. Happens every day in real life. It happens every day at these protests all around the world. I mean, like the level of the climate of America's particular politics. I think it's its most divisive form, where you have people in each other's throats. You're sitting on your social media angry because of these political things being said from people back and forth.
Totally agree. What I'm saying right there, though, is like if you want to sit there and debate those things like President Trump, God, I hate even saying it, but President Trump is doing, or you want to debate what your local congressman is doing, that's all fine. That all makes sense. That's all public knowledge. That's public record. You're going to vote on it. It's going to be discussed. But when you guys want to be on here arguing each other over that guy, Kyle, That doesn't make no sense because it's one person, man. So why let him create this stuff? Like if I like Trump and you like Bernie, okay, we can be divided. We can have different opinion right there. But like, why are we letting some person, who doesn't control any laws, doesn't have any opinion, make us hate each other? Like, think about this right now. What else are people pivoting on that hard right now? It's not even about the protest no more. It's about what that guy did. And, it's not even about Jacob Blake no more. It's literally about that guy Kyle right now. Like, they made it about him. And it's like, now the whole point of it was the police that did that to Jacob Blake. That was supposed to be who we were focused on. Now we're focused on this one guy who is just a diabolical kid. He was going to do something like that somewhere down the line, bro. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're letting him basically speak, where it's like, I feel like basically there's animosity towards me being a white person. Like, I feel like a lot of black people are just assuming a lot about white people right now, and it's understandable. And white people are assuming a lot about black people right now, and it's understandable because they're all just being fed what they're seeing, and they're allowing it. They're buying into it, Instead of going out there and talking to your neighbor and go out there, and talk to your, so I guess some people don't have them, but go out there and you talk to your black neighbor. You talk to your Spanish neighbor and you say, what are your problems in America? And I say, as a white Caucasian American, my problems in America. And we work towards a common goal to solve that. When we start ignoring the other people's, their opinion on what needs to be fixed and what can be better, that's when it becomes hatred. That's when it's like, oh, you don't give a fuck what I got to say. And I think that's how black people feel right now. It's like, you don't care what we got to say. You don't care if we say you're killing us. You don't care if we say we want equal pay. Like, we got to fight you for the simplest shit, and you don't want to hear it, basically. What I'm telling you is they don't. And that's an argument to be made. But don't let that argument become about Kyle. Fuck that guy. That's the same thing as a Dylan Roof. Like, that does not speak for anybody as a whole. Those people, he speaks for Kyle. Dylan Roof speaks for Dylan Roof. Like, you know what I mean? That doesn't speak for anyone else. No one else. You're not going to meet. You can go out and meet 1,000 people today. You're not going to meet someone who wants to go into a church and kill them all with a .357 revolver. Like, you can meet evil people. You can meet bad people. You're not going to meet diabolical. You know what I mean? Like, that guy drove across state lines with an AR, bro. You're diabolical. Like, you're looking to cause damage on the earth. You're looking to do something evil so that people can do this about you. You know what I mean? And debate this about you and become a topic and shit. You're a hero in someone's eyes and you're a villain in someone else's. Period. Fuck that dude. Like, fuck the little individual cases. That's what I'm saying. Focus on it as a whole. The problem was police brutality. The problem was the Jacob Blake killing.
Yeah.
Fuck the guy, Kyle. He should get homicide. Let it go. It's not a debate about that. Focus on what was at hand. Don't lose track of what you were fighting for. That would be my advice.
Yeah, and I think it's solid advice for people to consider, because I mean, we're in the world where we're jumping from one headline to the next. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's hot one day, whatever's being shoved up our fucking noses, that's what we're talking. That's what we're gonna talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever they're pushing is what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like what those headlines are at that moment. Like, it blows over so quickly because the way the news cycles this shit out, the way the media cycles is out, we're on to our next fix, where it's the next big argument.
Yeah.
We're like, I've gotten whatever type of dopamine, adrenaline, frustration and I got out of this one. Now I'm looking for the next new one to go and argue about. You know what I'm saying? We're like,
have you ever noticed with people too, though? Like, people can make an argument, right? And you'll be like, yo, you're right. And they keep. Have you ever noticed how much people do that? Like, I mean, I've even been guilty of it myself. It's something I've been trying to learn, since I really became aware of it. But like, a lot of times people will agree with you, or like, I'll agree with someone and they'll keep arguing it to me. Like, I already said you were right. I was wrong at this point, right? So now what are you doing? Are you just stacking combo points on me? I already admitted I was wrong. At this point, like, you should be trying to teach me. I've dropped the wall of argument. You get what I'm saying? Now I'm saying I was wrong and I'm willing to listen. At this point, you should go in teach mode, not debate mode. you know? And that's what I've learned. That's me speaking from personal experience because I've done it too, you know, where it's like I argue with you for 40 minutes and eventually someone's like, oh, I do see what you're talking about. I'm like, no, you know, I'm fired up right now.
I would say that that's probably less common than, you know, just to continue to argue from a point. I think it's less common for people to encounter people who are like, all right, I'm wrong, you're right. You know, so I think the natural reaction is for people just to keep driving on home with somebody. You know?
Well, what I'm saying is people aren't embracing doing that because even after they do, it's like people still want to be like let's say right now, right?
Ego.
Like let's just think about anybody out there. Let's say let's say Jada comes forward, you know, and she's like, what I did to my husband was wrong. Like she does a video, she's looking right in the video, you know, and she's doing like a private message basically to the world on her social media. And she's like, what I did to my husband was wrong. I should have never did that. It was completely wrong of me, blah, blah, blah. Right. And she says that right there. Right.
Okay.
30 years from now, what would people still be saying about Jada Pinkett? That she had a fucking entanglement with August Alsina. You know what I mean? She apologized for it. Like, at the end of the day, did you hurt someone? Did you molest someone, rape someone? Did you physically harm someone? If not, then if you're talking about emotional harm, well, that's not moral code breaking. You know what I mean? That's going to happen in the world. If someone apologizes for something like that, let them live, bro. You know, like a lot of times, like even with, like I've seen it with white people, like online, you know, where it's like, they'll tell people like eventually, you know, like, oh, okay, I didn't see it from that point of view. I didn't see it, you know, like I'd never seen it from that point of view. Like until you said that right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, you know, the black guy would be like, of course you did it. You could never see it from the, you know, it's like, bro, the guy's trying to open up right there. He's trying to be acceptable to teaching. He just told you he understands what you're saying is making sense. Stop trying to belittle anymore. Like you've already won the argument. Now teach. Go into teaching mode and say, this is all I've been trying to explain. You know what I mean? That's how it should be.
That's how it should be, man. But you know, that's not how people are. You know what I mean? Like
it's like, I want. Oh, now I'm gonna really flex. Now I'm gonna shit on you.
Yeah, pretty much, man. A lot of it's ego driven.
You don't know what poetry is?
Especially
poetry's fish dumbass.
Especially when it comes from, you know, points where like you wanted to you're at that point, you know, you're just kind of like flexing like, you know, intellectual superiority, you know, on somebody, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, withholding knowledge from someone as a type of like power stroke.
Yeah, like I seen a guy on sorry.
No, you guys. So we see people do it all the time, you know. It's like
I just had an example of it.
They get off where people are just like,
there was an argument on one of my friends' posts with Grant. You know, Grant was on there, you know, and he's talking to this guy on there, and it's a black man who actually used to teach down in Hollandtown and shit. And like he's telling Grant, there was one part where he told Grant, he's like, you're just mad because you're dealing with a black man who's read more books than you could ever wipe your ass with. And you know, like, first of all, Grant's Spanish. He's not white, bro. You know, he's a Spanish guy. Yeah. And he's not even that type of guy that's like hateful or hatred or something like that, you know, like, and he's also not the type of guy to belittle your intelligence. Like, Grant's a good guy, you know what I mean? So the fact that like you don't even know this guy, and let's say you are intelligent, well, how much does that speak for your intelligence right there? The fact that you're trying to belittle someone with the knowledge that you gained. You know, oh, you read so many books, my dumbass could never comprehend what you're saying. But really, we live on the same street. You know what I mean? Like, you motherfucker, you're not that higher up than me.
Intellectual, it's just, you know, to flex that intellectual superiority, man. It's literally, that's what it is to be like that type of individual where, you know, because you not believe you're better than people who lack that knowledge.
But it also don't mean it's true. I mean, Grant can get as much knowledge out of one book as that guy could get out of 10. You never know. You know what I mean? He could read differently. He could be reading books that, you know what I'm saying? You don't know.
When it's tied to the you know, the human ego where you're like, you know, it's like, there's not one motherfucker here smarter than me. You know, it's like, that's the type of people
I've never felt like that.
Neither have I, bro. But I mean, like, you know, people are different. If everyone was that type of person, you know, maybe we would be on a different type of level, you know. So, you know,
if you think you're smart, if you think you're the smartest guy in the world, bro, or like that, you know.
People think they're know-it-alls, man. You know,
dude, if you're the smartest person you know, that's a bad thing, bro. that means you're doing bad. You need to elevate the people you're around because you want to be around people that are smarter than you.
And all this makes sense, but I mean, like, you could say the same thing for like a drug addict. It's like, you want to get clean, you don't go back hanging out with those drug addicts.
Yeah.
But
you enjoy getting high.
I'm
the smartest here.
You go back and hang out with those drug addicts.
People that go to their local bars. You're something there,
you maybe even be a little celebrity at your bar. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I'll tell you something. Something I want to go over top with you. I'm about halfway through a movie called The Mandela Effect. You never heard of that, have you?
I heard Mandela Effect, yeah.
The movie?
Not the movie.
You never heard of the movie, right? No. Okay, but you know what the Mandela Effect is?
Yeah.
What would you say it is?
So there's a couple things that I've seen tied to it. One being we entered an alternate timeline per se. I mean, the reason for that, I've seen multiple different ones, of why we're in this alternate timeline, but that something changed, whether it be related to time travelers, some type of black hole at the Large Hadron Collider when they found the Higgs boson, and we were swallowed by a black hole.
You should watch this movie.
All types of different things.
Just the fact that you know that right there, you would really enjoy this movie.
And that, there's typical things like, the Berenstain versus the Berenstain Bears.
Right.
Febreze, JC Penney.
That's crazy. You know a lot of those. You should watch this movie, dude. Yeah. You would love this movie, bro.
Yeah.
It gets your mind running, bro. Everything you just said is correct. But basically, Mandela effect, right, is believing a memory that you hold entirely true that isn't. That's all the Mandela effect is, basically, right? So it's like another one, like you were saying, the Bernstein thing, like another one they were doing. Of course, they always do the Jiffy one. Just like that one. That one's argued. But like the Monopoly Man, right? Like, what does the Monopoly Man wear on his face?
Monocle, right?
Right. Except that he doesn't.
No.
Right. He doesn't. He never's weared one. He's never weared one in anything to deal with Monopoly, right? Yeah. But you just know the Monopoly Man is wearing that thing, even though he's not. That's not nowhere in the game.
Yeah.
They're like that type of thing, and that gets bigger, right? And everything you just said, but that also goes into simulation theory, right?
That's another one that's tied to it, yeah.
And that's why this movie is very good, bro, because you could just really go down a wormhole, bro. I'd love to watch it on some acid with you or something. Just think, bro. But there was this one part where they were talking well, first of all, think if something is a simulation, right? Well, then it has to be ran on a computer, right? And at the end of the day, no matter what computer it is, it does need update, right? And it does need to process, right? So if you think about how big the world is, how big the cosmos are, the galaxy, everything, how much things are on Earth, how many different things, how many things we've built, all of that shit, no computer could render that, right? Like, that's insane rendering throughout the entire cosmos, right?
Yeah.
Here's where you get tumbling, right? Is the fact of well, what if something is actually something isn't. If I tell you to look across the street at those houses right now, right, and I tell you what's inside of them, what would you say?
People, family, whatever, furniture, another living space,
right? But you don't know, right, until you step in there, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because that's when it becomes generated.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now if you picture, what if anything that wasn't in use is just the outside generated? And the only time it actually used the data processing is when someone activated it.
Yeah.
That's when it goes back to the classic of if a tree falls in the forest when no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Do you think it does?
I mean, it would make if a tree falls in the forest, no one's around to hear it.
Yeah.
It would make a sound.
But how do we define that, right? Number one, how do you define sound? How do you know if no one hears it? That's the only way we know what a sound is if we hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that's the whole point of sound.
Apply with if a glass falls in a house, no one's around to hear it. You'd imagine it would still make sound.
You imagine.
You just can't. You just won't be there experiencing it.
But you imagine, right? But you actually don't know that the data was rendered to make that sound. If it wasn't necessary, then it have to make that sound.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
I really want you to watch the movie.
I think it's an odd point to make because I mean, like, you know, you would have to experience it, that type of thing, you know. So
Listen,
you know, it's all about if you experience the sound, you know.
What do you mean if you experience? If you experience it, you would be there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like, if there's no one around to experience, I mean, like, yeah, you would have liked to imagine and make a noise, but I mean, like, that's how the laws of, you know, what we believe the world to be, how it operates. So it would make a sound, no one would hear it.
What are the laws, though? You get what I'm saying? Like, what
if
are
you're arguing from the fact that you know you believe the world is a simulation?
No, that's the movie. That's the movie I'm trying to explain, right?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, but we're not in the movie.
But real quick though, what are the laws, bro? I mean, what are you talking about? Law? You're saying?
Well, I mean, like the general laws of which that our world abides by,
of relativity. Because those aren't proven.
No, not at all,
like
bro.
General laws of what?
Like the laws of physics. Like, you know, when things bang, they make, you know, they like make noises. I mean, that's like a thing. You know, bang these two things together to make noise. You break a glass, it makes a noise. You know, so you would apply it to something that fell when you were gone. You know, that's how it works.
But like, you don't hear tectonic plate shifting, right? But that's very fucking loud, and that happens right underneath of you. Like shit, there's very loud sounds that happen all the time that you never fucking hear at all. But it's not how is it a sound until you hear it? It's not a sound. There is no sound until something hears it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I'm like regardless of any law or regardless of the movie or anything, I just don't see how anyone can say something made a sound if you didn't hear it. Because that's literally how we define what sound is. You know what I mean? You have to be able to hear it.
Yeah, but the fact that no one's around to hear it versus that it didn't make a sound, it still made that sound because, I mean, no one was around to hear it. So, I mean, like, like a tree falls, you hear it, cool. You leave, another tree falls, it's going to make a noise, it make a sound.
If I say, what did that tree sound like, right? What did that tree sound like falling, right? You would think about trees falling, right? You would think about trees you've seen falling, right?
Right.
That you experienced, right? So now you're just relating that experience to something that you actually didn't experience. Now you're just assuming based off an experience that you actually did render right in front of you. You've heard a tree fall before. So now you assume that even if you're not there, it's going to make that sound. But what if it only rendered when it needed to be seen?
You're arguing.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. The way you're arguing from is that simulation theory would be correct. You know, that would be the.
I'm just saying it is a good point.
You know?
It is a good point though. Of like,
I don't. It's one of those.
How is anything real unless it's being experienced?
I mean, it's like it's 100% paradoxical. You know, because there's no
answer.
There's no answer to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's like if you want me to argue about things that, you know, like, you know, okay, you can clearly poke a hole into something that I didn't experience or like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's like when you argue something like that from the point of like the simulation theory, it's like, okay, cool. But it does nothing. It has no weight in an argument. You know what I'm saying?
No, what I'm getting to there is the fact that you think that thing makes a sound because you're assuming. And that's the only way that you got to that. Right. It's the only way. You're assuming it because you experienced it before. Right. So the more amount of people, right, that are experiencing things, the more that a simulation would need to render, the more that the data would need to be consumed. Right. Okay. We need to move faster. We need bigger gigabytes, whatever it may be, terabytes, whatever level that would be on. Right.
Yeah. So you wouldn't do that if no one was around to see it.
So if I was doing it, I would save it. Right. But not only that, but also I was just thinking about, like, I'm not even a simulation theory guy, but like, when I was thinking about that of like saving data, saving rendering, I was thinking about like how much they try and get us to stay at home now. Okay. Like they don't try to get you to walk a trail, bro. You know, and I know like this role, just if we were believing in it, just pretend we were.
I'm rolling with you.
How much rendering it takes for me to walk a trail, right? From that data. Like it has to render a lot for me and you to walk that trail Saturday, right? If this is all true, like that's a lot for it to render, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a lot of just the same shit over and over, and we don't even notice. Could be that too. Could be fucking with us, but it doesn't want you doing that then, right? Because it knows another billion people are going to come. Another billion people are going to come, and if I can't update as fast as you basically are creating here, then I'm going to have glitches in the system. Okay. Mandela effect, right? And I mean, I think we all can agree that there is a Mandela effect. We kind of just proved it right there with the Monopoly guy, right? Like we both, I believe that too when I first heard it. Like you picture him with it, but it's not. And think about
this for a moment. You don't remember, but you know the Monopoly guy's a fancy dressed man. And when you ask someone what was he wearing, it's a misleading question. Your mind's gonna fill in the gap. So I think that might be a little psychological thing as well. It's like, okay, what did he wear on his eyes? Well, he didn't wear anything on his eyes, but my mind, it's like, okay, well, he's a fancy
I didn't say anything about eyes.
He's a rich man. Yeah, you asked me what does he wear on his eyes? What does he wear on his face?
I said, what's he wearing on his face?
What would that imply? Eyewear.
No, this goes back to exactly what I'm saying about the tree dough. Why did you do that? Because you assumed, right? Because you had seen a man dressed like the Monopoly man before, and he had a monocle.
Well, see,
but you never seen the Monopoly man with a monocle.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think when you ask someone, listen, hold on. I think when you ask someone, hey, especially if you don't have a clear memory of the Monopoly man, your mind's gonna like, okay, what did he wear on his face?
Okay, now let me.
What does a fancy dressed man wear? A monocle.
Okay. No, wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Name one other person on planet Earth that I could have said, what does he wear on his face? And you would have said a monocle.
A monocle? Oh, a bunch of people, but that's the
thing. Who? Give me another person. Give me another person.
No, listen.
Give me another person.
No, listen. This is what I'm saying. It's a psychological thing that how your brain operates when given that type of information. If you're to be like, hey, could you describe, what the Monopoly man wore? I think monocle would be the last thing on your mind. You'd have to ask them because they don't have a clear memory, so they're trying to fill in the gaps themselves. Is the brain working? So you would ask them, well, what about did he wear something on his eyes? They'd be like, oh, a monocle. I think I don't think that's a clear indicator. But I mean, I think that's.
But your whole argument here is that the fact that you came to that because he's a fancy dress man. Name one other person in the world that you would say the same thing about. Is he wears a monocle?
I was gonna say, if you ask him, hey, what did the Monopoly man wear on his face? I think you've asked a lot of people that. A lot of them will say monocle.
No, I'm asking you. If I asked you anyone else in the world, would you say monocle? If I said, what does Brad Pitt wear on his eyes? If I say, what does Donald Trump wear on his eyes? If I say, what does Lou Gehrig wear in his eyes?
But you also have clear memories of the people
Al Pacino
and not wearing monocles. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you don't have a clear memory of something,
and brother, you have no memory of the Monopoly man wearing a monocle.
Just like if you would, that's what I'm saying. This is your mind at work. It's a real thing.
But you would never create a monocle on Al Pacino.
Because he never wore a monocle. He doesn't even dress like he doesn't even dress like a businessman. That's what I'm saying.
Did the Monopoly,
but you would ask people like the Penguin, like, what did the Penguin have? It's like, oh, he had a monocle.
The Penguin, he's known for a monocle.
He was fancy dressed. You know what I'm saying? It's that same type of dress, though. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think it makes sense with your brain working to fill in the gap.
Dude, I know I'm saying monocle like last. The monocle's the last thing I think about.
Can you explain things like, Berenstain versus Bernstein? No. You know what I'm saying? I think there's clear discrepancies. There's a lot of people who remember different things.
Explain it. It's just you filled it in with assumption. That's my whole argument here. Is that you're
I don't think it helps anything with simulation theory.
I'm not. I'm just talking about something different here about the fact of just like why you're even saying that though is like the fact of you're assuming. That's what you're doing. You're assuming though. You're assuming. That's exactly what you're doing when you do that. You're assuming that it has that. You don't actually know. So how do you assume something? You go off of experiences.
Okay.
Right? Exactly. But you've never seen a fancy man wear a monocle.
That's actually attributed with people throughout the world. I mean,
have you ever walked in your life and seen someone with a monocle?
Bro, movies, cartoons, TV
shows.
Dude,
have you ever?
Yes. The monocle, you can buy a monocle in Red Dead Redemption.
No. In real life,
in Western time, people wore monocles.
In your real life,
that's a real thing.
In your real life, have you ever seen anyone wear a monocle?
Not walking out on the street in a day like this, but I've seen people. You dress up, you cosplay, you old TV shows, different things. You've seen people wear monocles. In Western times, that was a huge thing, was to wear a monocle.
Okay.
It's a big thing.
Okay, right.
Especially with upper class men.
You're saying that, but I couldn't say that about anyone else in the world but the Monopoly man that you would attach that monocle to.
Because of the way he dresses. You know what I'm saying? The way he dresses. He dresses like those men that used to wear those monocles. A wealthy businessman back in the day, that was a big thing to do.
So did fucking... what's his name? Gerald from fucking Fresh Prince. The butler from Fresh Prince. He dressed like that. He doesn't wear a monocle.
Yeah, he dresses like a butler, and butlers didn't wear monocles.
A little tuxedo joint.
It was a sign. He dressed nothing What's the Monopoly man wearing then? He's wearing literally like a fucking business suit, bro. Like not like a business suit, but like an old timey business suit from back in the day.
Like the Penguin's wearing.
Like
the Penguin's
no,
wearing.
not the Penguin at all. No, not at all. Listen, like a upper class person back in the day who was wealthy in like the 1900s.
So what would you say the Penguin's wearing?
The Penguin's wearing like a 70s business attire type thing, just on a fat dude. You know?
All right. Well, the butler shit looks better than the Penguins.
You know, because I mean, like the butler, they had like bow ties and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not a sign of like that. You know, you worked for a rich guy who wore a monocle. You know what I'm saying? It's an association of wealth.
The monocle argument, I would say, I don't think we're ever going to reach a thing on there. Because I would never, personally, I would never say any rich man ever wearing anything would wear a monocle. Because I don't never experienced that in my life. I've never actually seen anyone wear a monocle. I've never seen a monocle for sale. I've never seen anything but,
in modern times,
and show, like I've seen it in movies and shit like that. But I've actually never experienced a monocle in my life. So if you ask me to describe a businessman, you say what's on his face, I'd say sunglasses. Okay. I would never say a monocle. I think very few people would say monocle. I don't even think most people know what a monocle is. But I guarantee you, right? If I showed them a picture of a monocle, they would say, "Oh, that's what the Monopoly man wears." But he doesn't. He doesn't. That's just the whole argument of it. It's the fact that it's filled with assumption. You don't actually experience that. You can say you've seen it, but you've never actually experienced it. We just fill a lot of things in with assumptions.
But that's how the brain works. You know what I'm saying? That's how things work.
That's a flaw.
Know something.
That's a flaw.
It's us trying to put together the bigger picture. That's how brains operate with things. You know, those assumptions. Yeah, you know,
it can also make you comfortable.
Assumptions and predictions, those types of things, can backfire and can be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But you can put together a final scenario given some information and fill in that gap with something. That's just something that the brain, it does help us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's go next level on the brain does. So then think about how you did think that the Monopoly man wore a monocle, though. And most people do think that, right? So if you can do that, though, right? And the Bernstein thing like that, couldn't you also have a memory, right? That similar instances, you just kind of assumed, you filled in a lot of pieces of it. And it's a real memory to you.
That's what people do.
That's Mandela effect right there, right? That happens all the time, bro. That happens all the time with people, right?
Yeah. Especially with large amounts, because I mean,
I don't even know. I don't know if that was a dream or what.
But especially with things that they don't have clear memories about. I know what Al Pacino looks like and what he wears. Never once do I remember him clearly, with like a monocle. You know what I'm saying? That's like
he dressed like a businessman.
I mean, in movies, but like more like a fucking gangster and like a mobster type business style.
So a mobster could have a monocle.
Do you remember mobsters wearing monocles?
I don't remember monocles. I've said that many times.
I remember monocles very clearly, bro.
I literally, you talk about monocles, I'll talk about Monopoly Man, and I guess you could buy it in Red Dead. I wouldn't even have thought about it, but that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. Never actually seen a monocle in my life.
It's an outdated thing. You know, it's something that doesn't exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like asking who out here, nowadays fucking who goes to a barbershop to get like a teeth pulled, because that's something they did back then, but they don't do it nowadays. You never, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an outdated thing, but the people used to wear monocles. People don't do that no more. It's an old thing. It probably hasn't even been done since like the fucking.
So if you've seen a businessman today, you don't assume he got some monocle, right?
No.
So it's just the fact of his clothing. That's what you're going off of.
Well, I'm saying the Monopoly man is an old business dude. You know what I'm saying? Like with the top hats, monocles.
Top hat, monocle. That's how you go.
The whole thing's related, especially back then. It's a bit, monocles, man. I know about monocles very clearly. I remember monocles. So,
well, I mean, you're putting them on everybody, including the Monopoly man who didn't have one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think most people probably, maybe would say that. Maybe probably would, but like these are things that I think you can easily see something and just be like, okay, well, it used to be Bernstein. I really don't remember what it used to be. I feel like I remembered it being Berenstein.
Can't you
so I mean, like,
don't you got memories like that too?
Because I mean, who owned a Berenstein book?
I didn't even know about that one. I don't even know what that is. I didn't even know. It's just spelled differently. Yeah,
like JC Penney, like the JC Penney one. Like I remember it the other way. Like where it's not the Mandela effect. I remember it clearly as it being how it always has been. But some people think it used to be different. I'm just like, no, I don't remember that part. I remember it being this way. So I mean, I think people remember different things.
Don't you believe?
Who even really paid attention to the capitalization in JCPenney or whatever? Who really paid attention to the spelling?
Yeah,
the spelling. Who really? So I think it's very easy for these things to be nitpicked.
don't you think though? Right, those are all whatever. JCPenney, whatever. Medical, whatever.
I think the hardest
right?
one to explain is the actual Nelson Mandela thing, where
the hardest thing to
most
explain.
people remember him going to dying, back then in jail. Like that's one of the harder ones to explain. Is that's a very clear event that would have been newsworthy. And I remember most people remembering he died in prison in the 80s. But really, he died free in like 2013 or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess people believe that, but I learned that way after that. I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
I mean, when I found I remembered it. I remember that being a thing. But
so
I still have a clear
with
memory
that
of it,
though. Just think about all that though. So then, don't you think that you could have some memories in your fucking pit up there that are fake, bro?
Yeah,
that's kind of weird, ain't it? That you might have a memory that you remember clear as day that you actually still carry with you. Yeah, that's false.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of them. That people remember it differently. Because I mean, there's different point of views. You have different minds storing it. I think it's something that's just going to happen. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And that's the one thing is that it's always hard to say.
About different minds. We're talking about your mind. We're just talking about one mind.
Yeah, but I remember something different, and then you remember something different. It's like, well, I mean, who falsified what?
Well, I'm not talking about that. I don't want even to be opinion. I'm talking about
it's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's what people.
I'm saying it. I don't want to go like, I remember it differently. I'm saying, what if
you may actually remember it correctly.
Let me finish. If there was a fact. If there was a fact and you said it was wrong, basically, right? Like if I said like 9/11 happened, right?
Yeah, 100%. And you're like, saying, man.
Yeah.
It's like someone can remember it correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but it makes me wonder on why would your brain create that? You know how just how the brain blacks out trauma. It's the same exact thing, it's like you also add memories that you need, just like you black out things. It's almost like say your mom's a bad mom, but you want to love your mom. You could easily create a memory, right, where your mom wasn't as bad to you as you thought, right? She was that wasn't a big deal. We just kind of went back and forth, but really, she was really rude and ignorant to you that day. But you love your mom. So 5 years from now, you remember that day like it wasn't that bad. Oh, yeah, she did say something, but she didn't say, I fucking hate your guts. I wish I never had you, So,
I mean, the brain has some coping mechanisms when it deals with trauma, man.
But then it also has this little thing, right, where people have what they call the victim's role, right? Where it's like your mom really didn't say much to you, but you remember your mom cussing you out, bro.
The brain's very powerful, bro.
Sick, bro.
The brain's powerful, and the way it deals with things, is I mean, people's chemistry be all fucked up,
Nothing explains that better than body dysmorphia. Mm-hmm. What about those people who literally see themselves with one limb, bro?
Yeah, and they're just like, that's not mine.
Cut off their limbs, Steve.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. The brain is very powerful.
What if the brain made it to where they didn't even feel the pain, bro? Because that ain't even supposed to be there.
Bro,
in the brain, that don't even operate.
This one guy, he literally had his legs submerged in ice water for 48 hours or some shit.
Trying to kill it?
It was frostbitten as fuck, and they had to cut it off because they wouldn't cut it off. So I think to an extent they might.
His leg.
I think to an extent they might not feel pain.
Right. His body doesn't accept that, right? See, that's the weird thing though, but he can use that leg like he was walking to the hospital.
Well, think about placebo effects. I mean, they've been proven to work with some particular conditions where you believe you're getting better, so you do get better. So I think the brain
that's what always
is very powerful. I mean, we were talking to Saul and he was talking about the brain, the central nervous system,
the chiropractor.
That's the whole thing right here. I mean, your brain is
but people
accepting and dealing with those signals, so your brain can easily shut them off and just be like, that doesn't exist.
People say that chiropractor is snake oil. You know what I mean? But you hear Saul right there telling you it fucking helped him, and a lot of people say it helped them. So that's always my argument with placebo. At what point does it stop being placebo? If you're saying it's placebo, but it worked, what's that placebo then, right? That's what I don't get.
So what it is it's like, okay, I give you sugar pills. You believe you're taking some type of good medication, but your condition actually improves because you have that outlook that you are improving. You feel better. It's the brain's a powerful thing.
To me, though, that's not placebo. To me, that was there. That was there, bro. You just needed to activate that. And like, I think placebo is just the wrong word for it. It's almost like you activated that in you. It was an ability for your body to do it. And you activated it, you know?
I don't think the placebo is a wrong word because it describes that effect that of people of which undergo to then feel better. You know, like that's literally what it's attributed to.
It should be justified that placebo, the action of placebo taking effect is also effective. You know, it's like if you do believe you're getting better and you are getting better, then it wasn't placebo. You can say I gave you a placebo test, but it didn't have placebo results because you had real life results, you know?
But that's what that effect is when your condition does improve. Like you take a sugar pill, you then believe you think you're taking something else.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying
mind,
is,
you know, like that.
I wouldn't
that
call
describes
it
that
to
thing.
me,
you know,
that's something godly. That's something. That's a special ability inside of like humans.
Everything, you know, like I think really, because I mean, like,
but I don't have to give you a pill.
Your brain creates serotonin, dopamine, like those things that make you feel good. So, like, if you're getting better, you're feeling better about, So,
but I don't have to give you a pill to do it, Steve. Is what I'm saying. Okay, you could come in here, right, and I could be.
But you need to believe.
Exactly, but listen, hypnosis. That's a real thing. Hypnosis is a real thing, bro.
Effective on some people more than others, but yeah.
It's placebo though, right? But to me, it's not placebo because it works. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing as placebo. You come in here, let's say, your fucking back's hurting and you come in here and I do placebo, hypnosis on you and say your back doesn't hurt. And you come out of that hypnosis and your back doesn't hurt. It wasn't hypnosis. It wasn't placebo. It was a cure. You get what I'm saying? Like, no matter how I activated it, the fact that it could be activated doesn't really matter the route that we took to get there. The fact that it could be activated is like, what the fuck? It was possible for you to fix that if you just looked at it this way. It's like almost like it's like a power of mind. Like if we could tap into a higher level of consciousness.
I guess I was confused because it seems like you just have like a negative like attachment to the word like placebo, where like it's like. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
No, I'm saying, but I'm saying like placebo to me is like a placebo. I guess a placebo to me means like I gave you a placebo test. I get what it is. I give you water pill basically, and it don't work. Placebo, right? But to me, that really just means that.
Well, the fact that it working would be a placebo.
No, listen. What I'm saying is, let's say if it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. The fact that it doesn't work right there is kind of what I'm saying is that maybe that ability to get over that specific thing isn't in everyone, right? Because I can still give a placebo test to 10 people and only 6 of them pass the placebo test and say the water pill worked. You get what I'm saying? Well, why was that possible? Because you were able to activate something deeper than the placebo test, something deeper than the water pill. You were able to click something in that person's mind.
It's also possible that those 4 people would then be successful under hypnosis. You know what I'm saying? It's like different levels of like how much you actually believe and commit to things. You know what I'm saying? Like with your body, your brain, because a placebo effect is something that takes place, I believe, in a very subconscious level. So from your deepest root of subconscious, you would have to believe this is a good medicine. You would have to believe in hypnosis. If you don't believe in modern medicine, then this placebo sugar pill may not work for you. You know what I'm saying? But if you tend to believe more in modern medicine, this placebo sugar pill may help you. You know what I'm saying?
Or the counter. I could also see it as the counter. I really could, where it's like you're not someone who takes a lot of medicine. So it's, especially if you had like a fatal illness. Yeah. So let's say you're taking like an experimental HIV drug or something like that.
Yeah.
You want that drug to work. You know what I mean? It's not even about anything. It's about like you just because you want to live, so you want that to work. So you just, Tyler Hutchinson does this a lot. It's kind of like a counterproductive. People do it to kind of give themselves a safety blanket where like they know they can do something, but they still say it isn't possible. Right. It's like, oh, I'm never going to make it, or I'm never going to get a drug all the way to Bayview. But they really know they've done that before. But as a safety net, they're going to say they can't do it. You know what I mean? And really, that's a placebo right there. It's a placebo that people play on their self. Because you're thinking the people that do that, they're thinking that now they've activated some type of thing in the universe, right? Where like now that it's not expected, it almost can happen. It's hard for me to explain. Like they believe that like when they say this, basically, it takes the chance of the randomness away. I guess that's hard. I guess it's hard for me to explain, but like, do you know what type of people I'm talking about? Where they always do is like even smart people, right? Like here you go, Jess Spreet. You remember Jess Spreet from John Rura?
Yeah.
Her and little Antonita, I think her name was.
Okay.
They were two smart people. When they take a test, they would kind of pretend they were dumb. They would be like, "Oh, Tess, I didn't study for this."
Yeah.
But Jess Spreet knew she was a genius and she knew she was gonna ace it. But just in case she got that B, she said that before she took it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't study for this. So if I get a B plus, I didn't study. If I get an A, well, I knew I was gonna get an A.
Right.
That's like a safety net that people create in there. To me, that right there is a placebo. And it can be reversed on the opposite side, man, where you can believe in yourself more than you normally would. You know?
That's the placebo. Like with the anything, like if they that safety net thing isn't a placebo per se. You know what I'm saying?
No. That's what I was trying to talk about, the reverse aspect of that, right? Like
I can run 100 miles, but I never ran 100 miles.
No, but listen, but like your belief in God, right? That's placebo, right? I mean, you don't really have any proof of that, right? Like if you're out there and you're going through something you're battling, you know,
and that's a better idea. Yeah,
and you say God's gonna get me through this, right? It does give you more will to fight and live. If you really believe your God's going to get you through it. But there's actually no one helping you, actually. It's really your will. So what I'm saying is, though, what I'm saying with that person right there, he wasn't given a water pill, though. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how the safety
net thing isn't a placebo, though.
No, I'm not saying that. I described that to describe the reverse of it. The fact that you can reverse the safety net. You can also put your expectation higher and reach that through a placebo-like effect, like God. Like you can will yourself into something. I believe that's in people.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're not
100%.
activating that by giving them a fake water pill.
Yeah,
that's in that person. He just needs something to activate.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I mean,
it could be anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like whatever you believe in, and then like,
whatever gets you there,
and you actually succeeding. I mean, I would be placebo. Like you did. Like it's like I have God behind me, so I can run 100 miles. You run 100 miles. It's like
someone got a 1% chance of living, and they say, "I believe it. I got God behind me." And they really do live. You go, fuck it. Don't look like a placebo, bro. It looks like this man's will of God is what got him through that. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, when it works, when it actually works, a miracle, it's hard to say it's placebo. Like, I don't think it had nothing to do with, like, you convince. It's like, that's what I'm saying with the safety net. It's almost like you knew. You know when you take that test, right? When you go do experiment, you know that they're also doing a placebo test. You're aware of that. Everyone knows that. When you go in for a clinical trial, there is a clinical trial and there's a placebo. You don't know if you're taking the clinical trial placebo, right?
Yeah.
So if it actually did work, well, you could be taking the clinical trial. Or you could be the placebo. So it's like, to me, the pill isn't what matters. It's about just tricking the mind. Like some people have
that's exactly what it is, bro.
Some people have that capability. So once you trick the mind, placebo to me is described of like the way you got there. Where I guess
that's what it is.
I want placebo to be described the thing itself. That switch of the mind that people can do. Like that should be to me what placebo is. The fact that you really can. You can switch this thing in your mind, to like be able to do something that you wouldn't willingly do. And some people are going to be able to do that if by someone coming giving them a pill and then them, believing in it or not. That is going to work for a certain type of people. But like there's other ways to activate that too.
Oh, 100%, man. Never said there wasn't, but definitely.
If I could just find a way for me to be able to do that, to be able to give myself here it is, right? I want to be a billionaire. As soon as I say it, I start thinking about how hard it is, right? I need a placebo. How do I placebo this shit, Like, how do I flip that switch to go like, this is how we get a mill. We're on our way to a bill. You know what I mean? Like, how do I do that without taking a water pill? And saying, "Oh, this is a get rich pill quick." I
get you, man. I remember a long time ago. I said one time I was just talking. I was just like, I think some people, you see a lot of people, and they achieved something or did something great, and then the first thing they did, they were just like, I did it because of God. And I was just like, man, people don't give themselves enough fucking credit, because that was you. That was all you.
That was all you, baby.
I mean, of course, other things happened behind the scenes, fell in line, whatever the case may be.
I did it with the help of God.
But exactly, but you mean that was all you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's like, man, you're giving all your grace to God, but man, you fought it out. You saw it all out. And I mean, whether it be the faith or the belief that you would make it, helped you pull in that.
To get through all that, I guess what I'm trying to get to is whatever placebo you need, figure it out, and flip the switch. We love y'all. Sorry for the long rant there. Had to try and break it down. Appreciate y'all. Keep checking us out. We'll see you soon.
Here.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it.